Chapter 15:14. A mysterious assassin on the road. How come you're back? Asked the assassin emperor. There was also a disciple from the abyss of sufferings in their group. The messenger hit us and made us leave. He said he had no time. Said the assassin emperor's disciple. No time? The assassin emperor looked furious. He glanced at Mu Chen and the others as well as Emperor Yu. Many emperors looked at Emperor Yu and the Watcher's father. They trusted Emperor Yu even more. The Si Kong clan's territory was wrecked. There were corpses everywhere. On top of that, some people were actively stealing the Si Kong clan's treasures. When they saw the emperor land, they turned frightfully pale and started running away. Ba Huang! Boom! The area around the emperor of the Si Kong clan suddenly darkened. While he was fighting against the emperors, some people had come and killed the Si Kong clan's members. None were left. After Emperor Si Kong died, since he wasn't there, nobody could protect the Si Kong clan from such an onslaught. There were so many corpses on the ground and blood. Even though those people were extremely strong, it hurt more knowing that they had his blood. Those were his grandsons. But now they were dead. I'll kill you all, shouted the old emperor of the Si Kong clan. Slash. The old emperor of the Si Kong clan killed some people out of anger. Those people dared steal the Si Kong clan's treasures. They deserved to die. Those who weren't dead turned deathly pale and rose up in the air. They wanted to escape but they couldn't. The old emperor of the Si Kong clan used his celestial vision and corpses fell from the sky. After killing everyone, the old emperor left. His face looked hideous and he was furious. Why had he made all his people go to that small world? Of course, he couldn't know that someone would destroy his clan. So many things had happened in the Ba Huang province in such a short amount of time. The Qi clan and the Si Kong clan were part of the Imperial Assassin Union. Besides, Emperor Tianlong and Emperor Dan had joined them later and had died because of it. The Si Kong clan was destroyed, all its people were killed. The celestial land of Alchemist's emperor was dead, so its disciples dispersed. Many of their alchemy spells ended up in robbers' hands. Some evil cultivators had also kidnapped some of the very beautiful women as well. Because of Emperor Dan, the celestial land of alchemists was wiped off the map. In the eastern part of Ba Huang, in Shuri City, a young man was walking slowly through a crowd. He looked ordinary except that he had a black cloak on and his eyes were pitch black. So many people came to Ba Huang, thought Lin Feng. He had put on a mask and was surveying the ruins of the Qi clan. He looked around and saw that there were many young people, but their Qi was incredible. Lin Feng recognized some young people from the holy city, for example, Zhou Tianru. He was next to a man who was wearing a golden robe. Brother, when we go back, I will practice cultivation diligently and break through to the Huang Qi layer, said Zhou Tianru confidently. His brother had heard that he was defeated by a cultivator of the 6th Zun Qi layer, which was a humiliation to their family. So now, his big brother wanted to teach him a lesson. You understand that much, good. You shouldn't act arrogantly anymore. If you continue, Gu Li will get rid of you. When we go back, you should practice cultivation as you've said, and you shouldn't go abroad again, said the young man in the golden robe calmly. He knew that Zhou Tianru needed time to break through to the Huang Qi layer. First, he had to reach the very top of the Zun Qi layer. He also needed to control cosmic energies and his force had to be 1,000 times stronger. Brother, I will practice as hard as I can, said Zhou Tianru. He seemed to fear his brother. Zhou Tianshao nodded, then his eyes twinkled as he said, even though you can only blame yourself for what happened, who defeated you? What's his name? His name is Lin Feng, said Zhou Tianru. If I have the opportunity, I will help you. Do you want to kill him? Or cripple his cultivation? Or just humiliate him? Asked Zhou Tianshao. Kill him, said Zhou Tianru without hesitation. If he didn't have an imperial weapon, Lin Feng would have killed him. Therefore, he didn't want to be merciful. He wanted his brother to kill Lin Feng. Zhou Tianshao looked disappointed after he heard Zhou Tianru. He had hoped that Zhou Tianru would tell him he didn't need any help. He hoped Zhou Tianru would fight against Lin Feng on his own in the future. But of course, even though he was disappointed, he nodded. He would help his brother. They didn't try to be discreet, Lin Feng even heard them in the distance. He seems strong, but I don't know how strong he is. Maybe he's a cultivator at the very top of the Zunqi layer, thought Lin Feng. He slowly turned around and walked towards Shuri City. The Qi clan wasn't residing in Shuri City anymore, so more people were visiting now. We have to wait for Mu Chen's news. I wonder when he'll come to find me, thought Lin Feng. Since the messenger had kicked them out, leaving Ba Huang would be difficult. Even with fate seeds, he had refused to let them pass. Lin Feng was walking slowly, looking pensive. However, at that moment, he sensed energies surround him. Lin Feng was forced to stop because that strength was a force multiplied by 1,000. Who's that? Thought Lin Feng. His eyes turned black as he stared at a cultivator who was at the very top of the Zunqi layer. Chapter 15:15. Lin Feng's strange experience. The energies surrounded him, but he had an empty space robe. Suddenly, he disappeared and reappeared again, 1,000 meters away. However, Lin Feng was surprised because even though he was far away, the energies still surrounded his body. At the same time, the energies were getting closer and closer. Lin Feng was wondering if it was the first or the second assassin. The strongest assassin he had met so far was the third one, but the first and second would certainly be strong as well. The energies were getting closer, and then a wind brushed against his body. Lin Feng released wind and empty space abstruse energies to run. At the same time, he released earth abstruse energy to protect his body. Dong! Lin Feng heard a sound. His heart started racing, as if it was going to jump out of his chest. At the same time, his armor started crackling. His empty space and wind abstruse energies also broke apart. Boom! Lin Feng released demonic qi this time. He also released force, which was multiplied by 600. Dong! The ground shook and Lin Feng felt like he was going to be crushed again. Many people were watching Lin Feng. They sensed that his qi was incredible, so what was putting so much pressure on him? They couldn't see it, but Lin Feng was sweating. Dong! Lin Feng's heart was racing, fearful that he was going to be crushed alive. Boom! Lin Feng jumped and released sword qi. Then, Lin Feng's body progressively turned black. His pitch-black eyes were filled with a deep darkness. When he glanced around, people would avoid looking at him. What an aggressive qi! Who could attack such a strong cultivator? Thought the crowd. Demonic qi, Emperor Wu Tianjian's cultivation type, pitch-black eyes, that's Lin Feng, shouted someone suddenly. Indeed, that's Lin Feng, thought the crowd. Someone wanted to kill Lin Feng. You can't defeat me, said a voice in Lin Feng's brain. That person was trying to ruin Lin Feng's confidence. Slash, slash, sword energies lacerated the space around him. The crowd moved away, fearing they'd get caught up in the fight. You're already dead to me, said a voice. Lin Feng's face became distorted. He released energies, but he couldn't block the attack. One more step and he might die. Was he going to die? He didn't even know who was attacking him. Lin Feng suddenly felt sad and desperate. He hadn't felt like that for a very long time. No, I still have the Jade Emperor's palace, thought Lin Feng. He couldn't give up because he didn't want to die. He still had so many things to do and he had a wonderful family. Piss off, all of you, shouted Lin Feng, furiously glancing around at the crowd. The crowd was surprised, but many of them ran away. Lin Feng suddenly turned around, jumped forwards, released as much demonic and sword qi as he could. All the buildings around broke apart. Die, said a cold voice. His face turned deathly pale. Where was the assassin? Behind him? Come out, shouted Lin Feng, sounding like a demon. A gigantic hand condensed in the sky and moved towards Lin Feng. Even if he took out the Jade Emperor's palace, he'd die. He couldn't escape that attack. Arg! Demon energies rolled in waves and a demon king appeared behind him. Lin Feng's demonic determination was changing. He's leveling up, the crowd in the distance was amazed. Lin Feng had just broken through to the 7th Zunqi layer, in such a perilous situation. Lin Feng still couldn't resist those energies though. Breaking through to the 7th Zunqi layer and dying a few minutes later would be even more tragic. It's him! Lin Feng saw Zhou Tianrua and his brother in the distance. Brother, it's him. Kill him. said Zhou Tianxiao suddenly. Zhou Tianxiao frowned. Lin Feng looked like he was in danger, so attacking him was useless. He glanced around but he couldn't see who was attacking Lin Feng. Bzz. At that moment, someone appeared in the crowd and ran towards Lin Feng. Zhou Tianxiao fixedly stared at him. Then someone flew in front of Lin Feng, grabbed him, and started leaving. The crowd was intrigued. Zhou Tianxiao was dumbstruck, but then he suddenly thought about something and chased them. A few seconds later, Zhou Tianxiao was in the sky alone. He hadn't managed to catch up with them. Zhou Tianrua arrived behind and said, "Brother, what's going on?" Zhou Tianxiao shook his head. He didn't understand either. Lin Feng didn't understand either. They made it to a mountain range before the person put him down. He smiled wryly and shook his head. "Brother, you scared me to death. I noticed that your cultivation was stuck at the top of the 6th Zunqi layer, so I had to help you." The assassin's energies which Lin Feng had sensed were Mu Chen's. "Thank you, brother," said Lin Feng. He was ultimately happy in the end. "You don't need to thank me, you leveled up thanks to your own abilities. I just guided you a little," said Mu Chen smiling. Some luck and determination had been necessary for Lin Feng to break through to the 7th Zunqi layer. Mu Chen knew how difficult it was to be stuck at a certain level. Mu Chen had just tried to help Lin Feng and it had worked. Lin Feng still had a long way to go though. Chapter 1516, Violating Rules. "Brother, I'm now a cultivator at the top of the Zunqi layer," said Lin Feng smiling. He released strength and smiled. "You want to try and have a fight?" said Mu Chen. Lin Feng was surprised and shrugged. "Don't bully younger disciples." "I'll control my strength," said Mu Chen. He wasn't joking, so Lin Feng wanted to fight now. "All right," said Lin Feng. If Mu Chen wanted to challenge him, why not? Even though Lin Feng was now a cultivator at the top of the Zunqi layer, he sighed on the inside because Mu Chen was so strong. He was gifted at hiding it too. If Mu Chen wanted to kill Lin Feng without being seen, it would be very easy. "You can attack me but don't control yourself," said Mu Chen. Lin Feng nodded and released demonic energies immediately. Lin Feng couldn't sense Mu Chen's qi. It was as if Mu Chen didn't exist. Suddenly, Lin Feng jumped forwards and used his deadly demon punch. Mu Chen raised his fist nonchalantly and his strength turned into 1,000 threads of force. "Break," said Mu Chen. Lin Feng's aggressive deadly demon punch dispersed instantly. Lin Feng was incredulous, but he didn't stop. This time he raised both fists and used deadly demon punches in which he condensed force into. Mu Chen looked indifferent. He just raised his fists again and blocked them. Lin Feng released sword energy and slashed ahead of him. Slash, slash. Mu Chen didn't dodge. His threads of energies destroyed Lin Feng's attack, but more threads of Lin Feng's energy moved towards him. Then, Mu Chen destroyed the remaining energies with his fists. Mu Chen smiled and raised his hands, collided against Lin Feng's fists. Lin Feng felt that his soul was going to get kicked out of his body. He was shaking violently and was violently propelled backwards. "Brother, you understand soul strength," Lin Feng realized. No wonder Mu Chen was an adept at hiding. He knew the intensity of each thread of energy, so he knew how to react. "Yes, your attacks are quite strong now. You can make them even better though," said Mu Chen. In the eastern part of Ba Huang, at the limits of the world, the messenger and Emperor Dong were in the Sun Castle. "Your Highness the Messenger, thank you for helping me," said Emperor Dong politely. "Don't worry, I promised you that I'd do it," said the messenger nodding. Emperor Dong smiled and took out a ring. "Your Highness the Messenger, a gift from the Qi clan." The messenger took the ring and said, "Even though I don't involve myself in the small world's affairs, I am in charge of this passage. Nobody can go against my will here." "Of course," said Emperor Dong smiling. "Your Highness the Messenger, you can change the destiny of this small world." "Indeed," said the messenger smiling. He was satisfied with the praise. Emperor Dong then left. "I'm leaving, Your Highness the Messenger." Emperor Dong then left the castle. After Emperor Dong left, the messenger walked to the sun pattern in the palace and a counterforce rolled in waves. Lin Feng and Mu Chen were still practicing in the mountain range. Lin Feng was sweating, but he was having a lot of fun. It seemed like the sun was going to fall from the sky. It was scorching hot as hit their backs. Mu Chen frowned. The sun was getting nearer and nearer before two gigantic golden words appeared in the sky. 30 days. How audacious, thought Mu Chen, seemingly furious. The messenger was stealing the sky and putting up a sham sun. He was violating the rules of the small world. Brother, what's going on? Lin Feng didn't understand. What was that? Everybody in the small world could see that. Only the messenger can do that because he controls star date strength. He's telling us that we have to go to the holy city within 30 days, otherwise he's going to close the passage, said Mu Chen in a cold way. Lin Feng became upset after hearing this. Last time they wanted to go to the holy city, but the messenger had refused. Did he intend to prevent them from going? Everybody in Ba Huang and Jiuyu saw that. In some places where it was initially raining, the rain stopped, and they instead saw those gigantic golden words. Ordinary people were speechless. What kind of strong cultivator was that? How could he write in the sky? Bastard! Emperor Yu was with some disciples, but he stopped and cursed out loud. The disciples were surprised. How come Emperor Yu was so upset? Emperor Dong also saw that. He was smiling indifferently and thought, the messenger has been in charge of the small world for such a long time, he's becoming even more audacious. In the Celestial Walls manor in Jiuyu, the old man raised his head and his facial expression suddenly changed. He frowned as he said, how audacious! He dares violate the rules. Yun Fei Yang and Bei Yenyun stood next to the old man. Bei Yenyun asked, what's going on, teacher? Someone is violating the rules of this small world, said the old man. He controlled himself and tried to look calm again. Then he said, I wanted to help you become stronger at your own pace, but now we can't because we must hurry. The old man rolled up his sleeves and took Yun Fei Yang and Bei Yenyun away. Chapter 15-17. Emperor Dong's Revenge. Emperor Dong was resting in the Qi Tian Mountain, in Shuri City. He took out a mirror which possessed a terrifying empty space strength. Go! Suddenly, he shook his hand and the mirror shot up into the sky. The ancient mirror diffused ice-cold lights as it fused together with the sky and disappeared. A light appeared in Emperor Dong's godly awareness. It was Emperor Yu's silhouette. He condensed that silhouette with his godly awareness and made it fuse together with the mirror. In the distance, Mu Chen and Lin Feng were flying, but suddenly Mu Chen stopped and raised his head. Some lights were shining upon them with a strange type of qi. Lin Feng sensed something too and raised his head. However, Mu Chen didn't see anything, and Lin Feng couldn't either. They shook their heads because they didn't know what was going on. Back in Shuri City, many strong cultivators saw those lights, and they didn't understand either. That mirror was moving too fast. It was moving even faster than some of the strongest cultivators they had ever seen. In a small abandoned village, Emperor Yu was teaching Xingzhan some cultivation principles. Strength is good, but you need to be faster, otherwise, you'll be in danger if you meet cultivators who are stronger than you, said Emperor Yu to Xingzhan. Xingzhan was a beast. His attacks were explosive and powerful, but he was too slow. I understand. Xingzhan nodded. Emperor Yu smiled. You can go have a rest. Tianqi, come here. All right. Tianqi was seated near them. He smiled and walked to Emperor Yu, but at that moment, Emperor Yu raised his head and saw some flashing lights. Teacher, what's going on? Asked Tianqi. Emperor Yu frowned. He couldn't see anything, so he just shook his head. However, at that moment, Emperor Dong found Emperor Yu and his disciples. Emperor Yu, you're going to die. Emperor Dong rose up in the air, pulled his mirror away and streaked across the sky. Emperor Yu didn't know what was going on, so he continued teaching his disciples. Suddenly, Emperor Yu sensed some terrifying energies. His facial expression changed drastically as he shouted furiously, Go, everybody go! Boom! The space around them exploded as meteorites fell from the sky. Then, Emperor Yu jumped into a crater with his disciples. Boom, boom, boom. The ground exploded in several different places. Then, Emperor Dong appeared. He immediately punched the air in Emperor Yu's direction. Teacher, go! After the disciples saw Emperor Dong, they understood why Emperor Yu was panicking. Their faces also turned deathly pale. "Piss off, all of you!" Emperor Yu jumped forwards and sealed the space. Emperor Yu could only help his disciples escape. He had no other choice. Boom! A terrifying strength oppressed them, causing the ground to crack. Emperor Yu's stone armor was breaking apart and he was bleeding. Emperor's force was multiplied by 1,000. Therefore, for emperors, the earth and sky were not a problem. However, medium-level emperors controlled cosmic energies even better. Emperor Yu was a low-level emperor and knew he couldn't compete with a medium-level emperor. He had to save his disciples before he could worry about protecting himself. "You will all die, none of you will escape," said Emperor Dong. With his mirror, he would find and kill those people sooner or later. Die! Emperor Dong released cosmic energies which reached Emperor Yu, making him cough up even more blood. Arg! Emperor Yu shouted and released terrifying earth energies. Everything around him exploded, and a hole appeared in the air. Bzz! Emperor Yu used Emperor Dong's strength to create that hole. He wanted to jump inside, but Emperor Dong smiled coldly. Emperor Yu wanted to escape? Where could he go? Destroy! Emperor Dong jumped, and fissures appeared in the sky. Then he chased Emperor Yu into the empty space. A horrible shriek sounded as Xingzhan fell to the ground, soaked with blood. "Xingzhan!" shouted the others. Their eyes were bloodshot. They were all fixedly staring at that hole. Their teacher and Emperor Dong had jumped inside because he wanted to protect them, but Emperor Yu couldn't defeat Emperor Dong. How had Emperor Dong found them? They all looked desperate. What's going on? The great ape emperor appeared. "Emperor Dong came to kill our teacher," said Tianqi. His face was deathly pale, and he was terrified. Bzz! A silhouette appeared and punched the air while jumping into the hole. The great ape emperor and Tiantai's disciples were incredulous. How fast? That person was completely silent too. It's the Taoist monk. The great ape emperor could tell that it was Yen Di. He knew how strong Yen Di was. Besides, he had directly jumped into the hole. "Who's that?" asked Tianqi. He couldn't see the silhouette. He feared that it was one of Emperor Dong's allies. "It's the Fire Mountain's new emperor, Lin Feng's friend. He came to help," said the great ape emperor. "That person has broken through to the Huangqi layer recently, but his strength is unfathomable. He's even stronger than me. I hope he's here to help." Tianqi and the others were still very worried. "Let's leave," said the great ape emperor to the disciples. Emperor Dong was there, so maybe the old emperor of the Sikong clan would come and kill them while Emperor Yu was preoccupied. "No need. Emperor Dong can find us anywhere. I sensed something a short time ago and so did our teacher." Some lights appeared and then disappeared. A short time after, Emperor Dong arrived, said Tianqi, shaking his head. He understood what was going on. Emperor Dong had used a special treasure to find them. "All the emperors of Ba Huang are in danger then," said the great ape emperor. Emperor Dong could find all of them at a moment's notice. "Our teacher told us that we had to leave within 30 days after those gigantic golden words appeared in the sky. It seems like we have to join hands to protect each other from Emperor Dong and the old emperor of the Sikong clan." The great ape emperor nodded. He realized that their problems were multiplying. Did those 30 days have anything to do with Emperor Dong? Chapter 15:18. Dead and Tianqi and the others could only sit there and pray. They couldn't fight against a medium-level emperor. "Mister, can you heal Xingzhan's leg?" asked Tianqi. The great ape emperor remained silent for a few minutes. Xingzhan's leg had been cut by the cosmic energies of a medium-level emperor, so healing his leg would be very difficult. "It seems like I lost my leg," sighed Xingzhan, trying to smile. "Xingzhan." Tianqi and Mu Bei didn't know what to say to cheer him up. "Today, we're still alive thanks to our teacher. A leg doesn't matter. With my strength, even without that leg, I can still practice cultivation and fight," said Xingzhan, smiling. Tianqi and Mu Bei nodded. They admired him for his courage. They raised their heads and tried to see if their teacher was going to come back safe and sound or not. After a long time, finally, two silhouettes appeared again. "Emperor Yu." "Teacher." The disciples ran towards him. The two people were Yen Di and Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu didn't look fine. He was bleeding, and he looked like he had lost all his strength. His chi was very weak, as if he was going to die. "I'm all right," said Emperor Yu, trying to smile. Tian Chi and the others' eyes were bloodshot. Crackling sounds popped, they clenched their fists. "Emperor Dong." Tian Chi was furious. "Yen Di saved my life. I would have died without him," said Emperor Yu, smiling. He controlled Earth cosmic energy, which allowed him to increase his defense, but Emperor Dong controlled empty space cosmic energy, which had a slicing characteristic. Emperor Yu couldn't escape either. Yen Di had intervened at a crucial moment. "Thank you, Master," said Tian Chi to Yen Di. "It was a pleasure," said Yen Di calmly and serenely. "Teacher." In the distance, Lin Feng and Mu Chen came back. They pulled a long face. Emperor Yu smiled at them and said, "We must hurry and inform all the emperors of Ba Huang. Emperor Dong has a precious item which allows him to find us anywhere." "Busy." Some lights flashed in the sky. "That's precisely that thing," said Emperor Yu while looking at the lights, which had quickly disappeared again. "We can't stay in Ba Huang for too long, it seems," said Mu Chen as he gazed into the distance. Emperors were fine, but young people had to be very careful. Emperor Wen quickly appeared looking distraught. "Emperor Dong has an ancient mirror which allows him to find people. We need to inform all the emperors of Ba Huang," said Emperor Yu to Emperor Wen. Emperor Wen nodded and said, "I understand. My dad has already started informing people." "Emperor Yu, your injuries?" Emperor Yu shook his head. He had been injured by cosmic energies. Even though his life wasn't in danger, his injuries were very serious. His strength was affected. It would be difficult for him to recover. "Yen Di." Lin Feng turned to the Taoist monk. He knew a lot, so maybe he knew what to do. "I'm not a healer, and I don't understand life cosmic energy either. I can't heal him," said Yen Di. "Once in the holy city, you should find a medium-level or a higher-level emperor who understands life cosmic energy. That or a great alchemist or doctor." Yen Di then turned to Xingzhan and said, "Your injuries are less serious than Emperor Yu's." Emperor Yu was a bit disappointed. Emperor Dan was a great alchemist, but he was dead. He had to go to the holy city to find a stronger cultivator who could help him. But then again, why would those incredible cultivators help him? "Mr. Xiao," thought Lin Feng. Mr. Xiao was mysterious. He had saved Lin Feng's life before, and his medicine didn't leave a negative impact on Lin Feng's cultivation. It even helped him become stronger. "Don't worry about my injuries. We need to come up with a way to leave," said Emperor Yu calmly. "Is the messenger the only one who can send people to the holy city?" asked Lin Feng. The messenger wasn't very nice, and he was friends with Emperor Dong. The emperors looked pensive. There were several exits, indeed. "We can't consider the other one," said the great ape emperor while shaking his head. "In Ba Huang province, there is only one exit, but in Jiuyu, there is another one according to legends. But it's in a forbidden place in Jiuyu where even emperors can die." "Indeed, there's no need to consider Jiuyu's exit," said Emperor Wen. "A high-level emperor can pierce through the barrier of the sky," said Yen Di. "High-level emperors can break the sky barrier. That's why the strongest cultivators of this world are medium-level emperors. High-level emperors will just leave," thought Lin Feng. So, the light beam which had emerged from the 3 live scriptures had the power of a high-level emperor. While everybody was thinking, Emperor Wen's father and Emperor Dong were racing against time. Emperor Dong continued using his mirror. He wanted to find Lin Feng, but after he saw that Lin Feng was with Yen Di, Emperor Dong gave up. He didn't know who the Taoist monk was, but he was too strong. His cosmic energies were terrifying, and his holy mark strength was astonishing. Yen Di had attained the highest degree of perfection whilst using holy marks. After that, he looked for the 6 Desires Empress. That evil woman had made an alliance with Emperor Yu. He wanted to capture her alive and use her as a sex slave. Not just her, but her disciple, Iren Lei too. Chapter 1519. Emperor Wu Tianjian. Emperor Yu. Emperor Dong hates Tian Tai, which is why he looked for you. After you, whom do you think he will hunt for? Asked Emperor Wen. Maybe that he will also look for the emperors who joined in the Qi clan's destruction, said Emperor Yu. Yi Ren is in danger, thought Lin Feng. Her teacher had come on the day when the Qi clan was destroyed. Apart from those few emperors, the Watcher's father had come too, the Six Desires Empress, the Assassin Emperor and the others. Emperor Dong would probably choose the Six Desires Empress first. Lin Feng looked at Yan Di and hesitated. If he asked Yan Di to go, they wouldn't be able to protect themselves against Emperor Dong if he came back. Jianga, suddenly thought Lin Feng. He gazed into the distance and said, Yan Di, go to the Heavens of Desire's palace, everybody else can come with me to Jianga. We'll be safe there. That sounds good. Yan Di, you're very strong and very fast. You and Emperor Wen's father can stay together, said Emperor. All right, no problem, said Yan Di. Then he disappeared. What a terrifying speed. He's even faster than me, thought Emperor Wen. Let's go to Sword City, said Lin Feng. I also want to see the old man of Jianga, said Emperor Yu. Lin Feng and the other strong cultivators landed in Jiangu. Jianga's people welcomed him politely. Jian Mu even welcomed them personally. Mu Chen immediately left after that. He wanted to find the other disciples from Tiantai. Lin Feng didn't bring people to the sword grave though. He went to the sword grave alone. As soon as the old man saw Lin Feng, he smiled indifferently and said, I know what's going on outside. The two sides violated the rules and now such things are happening. Rules? Lin Feng was surprised. He didn't understand. Were there rules between the Imperial Assassin Union and the Watchers? Master, my teacher wants to see you, said Lin Feng. Tell him to come, said the old man calmly. Lin Feng went out and called Emperor Yu. Then they came back. The old man sighed and said, You're like me now, what a pity. Emperor Yu bowed politely before the old man and said, I am not worth mentioning in the same sentence as you, master. Don't be that polite. Have a seat, said the old man. Emperor Yu smiled at Lin Feng. Lin Feng, please sit down too. Your body has been cleansed, so you are starting to be one with nature. You can't stay here, you must leave for the holy city where you will have more opportunities, said the old man. Emperor Yu shook his head and said, Back then, some old friends and I wanted to leave but one of my friends died from the Imperial Assassin Union. It changed both our destinies. Therefore, you need to make sure things end differently. The Imperial Assassin Union is becoming even more audacious, and they have influence. They want to take control over Ba Huang and Jiao Yu. Therefore, we can only strike back, otherwise, the end results will be tragic. You've seen what happened, said Emperor Yu to the old man. The old man remained silent for a few seconds and finally nodded. Indeed, the messenger has also forgotten what his responsibilities are. You didn't do anything wrong. Maybe to them, the small world is like a game of chess. You're playing quite well. Emperor Yu was happy that the old man agreed. Then he slowly stood up and bowed respectfully. Thank you for helping us. Me, said the old man smiling wryly. I'm like you, I'm injured. I was injured by cosmic energies, so I can't fight. I'm sure Emperor Wu Tianjian doesn't know what impossible means. You've existed for 5,000 years after all, said Emperor Yu. The old man looked at Emperor Yu in a strange way. Lin Feng's eyes were twinkling. Was the old man of the sword grave Emperor Wu Tianjian who used to amaze everyone 5,000 years ago? He had become so old that nobody knew him anymore. Indeed, 5,000 years before, none of Jianga's current people were born yet. The old man looked at Lin Feng and stretched out his hands which had scars and blisters left from his sword. Lin Feng and the other disciples from Tiantai are really talented. You can place all your hopes on them, said the old man tapping Lin Feng's shoulder. Emperor Yu nodded. Indeed, master. I am ready to die for them. We can die, but they can't. That's why I'm asking for your help, said Emperor Yu bowing. Lin Feng was clenching his fists so hard that his nails pierced through the palms of his hands. What makes you act so brave? Sighed the old man. Emperor Yu was an emperor, so cultivation was the most precious thing he had in life. Who was willing to die for other people when cultivation mattered most? My fellow disciple who has been there for me for hundreds of years gives me faith, said Emperor Yu smiling in a resplendent way. He missed his friend. Emperor sure? thought Lin Feng. Chapter 1520, Chessboard Emperor Wu Tianjian whispered, I spent my entire life practicing sword cultivation. Even if the members of Jiang'e think dearly about me in my life, I've never actually had a friend or lover. I've always only loved my sword. Do you understand what I mean? I understand. Emperor Yu nodded. Why would Emperor Wu Tianjian have compassion for Emperor Yu? But you like Lin Feng and I'm injured. If you stay like this, you'll die sooner or later. You know Lin Feng, you know how he is, if he reaches the clouds, he won't forget you in the future. Emperor Yu continued trying to convince Emperor Wu Tianjian. The old man smiled and said, maybe that little boy is the friend I've never had, said the old man kindly. Now he was smiling in a resplendent way. Emperor Yu also smiled. They both looked at Lin Feng in a kind and gentle way, as if they had been looking at their own son. I'm off, master, see you around, said Emperor Yu before leaving. Lin Feng watched him leave. Their conversation had made him think about many things, including the mysteries of the small world. Master, are there rules between the Imperial Assassin Union and the Watchers? Asked Lin Feng to the old man. The old man nodded and said, very old rules which have been determined for a long time behind the scenes. The Imperial Assassin Union doesn't only kill people who have the potential to become emperors. Nobody would waste time trying to do that. Their goal is to eliminate some people or block some others. If they want to eliminate someone, they kill them. If they want to block someone, they control them. But some people from influential groups in Ba Huang don't want to be killed or controlled, so the Watchers help them. During the events in Fortune City, it was decided who the Watchers would protect. Those people are the Imperial Assassin Union's main targets. They are also the symbols of the Watchers. The Watcher's father places high hopes on them. He hopes they'll create a better future for Ba Huang, or that they'll leave and come back, annihilating the Imperial Assassin Union once and for all. So we can't say that the Qi clan and the Si Kong clan control the Imperial Assassin Union, thought Lin Feng. For the people behind the Imperial Assassin Union, the small world is like a chessboard. It provides them with an endless quantity of cultivators. Every 100 years, they choose some. Therefore, the Imperial Assassin Union will always exist because they're from there, said the old man calmly. Lin Feng remembered the banquet in the Qi Empire. Many imperial disciples had appeared and attacked their own teachers, which made sense now. My teacher knew something was going to happen, but he didn't say anything. Lin Feng knew that his teacher had something to do with the Watchers, maybe the great ape emperor did too, and the old emperor of the celestial palace of the immortals. You're right, he knew, but he needed the Imperial Assassin Union act first. They let the Imperial Assassin Union attack so that everybody could have a reason to attack the Imperial Assassin Union, said the old man. Lin Feng nodded. For the Watchers, it worked to their benefit. After the wedding ceremony in the Qi Empire, many people had started banding together to fight against the Imperial Assassin Union. The Watchers don't want you to stay in Ba Huang. They want you all to leave the world eventually, said the old man. The Watchers hope will be able to annihilate those who control the Imperial Assassin Union. That way, the safety of the small world will be guaranteed, said Lin Feng. However, the old man smiled thinly and shook his head. No, you're wrong. I'm wrong. Lin Feng was very surprised. You're wrong, said the old man nodding. New groups keep appearing and disappearing. You underestimate the potential of the people that a small world can create. In the Holy City, many groups of influence fight for small worlds like crazy. In their eyes, small worlds are not worlds, small worlds are treasures. They train geniuses in small worlds. You cannot imagine what the Holy City is like. You should never underestimate a small world. Every 100 years, geniuses from here go to the Holy City, and maybe 10 people leave each time. But imagine the number of geniuses who emerge in 1,000, 10,000, or even 100,000 years. Amongst them, then again, imagine the most talented of all those talented people, said the old man smiling. Lin Feng was pensive. Some of those people had the potential to become peerless cultivators. A small world is not only a world where geniuses are chosen, it's also a nice place to practice cultivation. People like Xia Tianfan, Zhou Tianhua, or Gu Li all go to small worlds to practice cultivation. Why don't they send medium-level emperors to this small world to take control of it? Asked Lin Feng. Because there isn't just one group of influence that controls this small world, they have agreements, and there are rules. If you're strong and destroy everything or act as a horrible ruler, then you just waste the small world's potential, explained Emperor Wu Tianjian. This time, Lin Feng remained silent for a very long time before he said, "So our teacher hoped that someday we'll control this small world." Emperor Wu Tianjian smiled. If they became extremely strong, that small world would be safe. If they controlled that world, then nobody would be able to harm the people in there. Lin Feng and Emperor Wu Tianjian didn't continue talking. Emperor Wu Tianjian stood up and continued cleaning the sword grave. Lin Feng was seated and seemed pensive. He was thinking about what Emperor Yu and Emperor Wu Tianjian had said. Each time a battle happened in that small world, it was as if strong cultivators were playing chess. Chapter 1521. The only option. Yan Di and Emperor Wen's father came back and brought a lot of people with them. The Six Desires Empress, the Assassin Emperor, the Emperor of the Celestial Thunder Temple and their disciples. Nobody had died. Jian Mu was serving everybody as they arrived. He had never thought that Jiang'e would become the place of reunion for all the emperors of Ba Huang. Jian Mu was excited for their newfound popularity. He knew that their young master, who had already broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer, would also break through to the Huang Qi layer soon. Even now, he had brought so many emperors. Jian Mu didn't know about all the things Lin Feng and the old man had talked about. How would he react if he knew that the old man was their ancestor? "We can be grateful to Emperor Yan, he's the reason why we're safe and sound," said the Six Desires Empress. If Yan Di hadn't come to her, Emperor Dong may have found her and she would have been in danger. Emperor Yu had already been injured by Emperor Dong's cosmic energies and he couldn't heal himself in Ba Huang. He would need to be lucky in the future, otherwise his strength would be restricted forever and he would never be able to improve again. "Indeed, Yan Di helped us so much," said Emperor Wen's father smiling. "It was my pleasure," said Yan Di. The Six Desires Empress smiled at Lin Feng and said, "You are now a cultivator at the top of the Zun Qi layer, congratulations. You'll soon break through to the Huang Qi layer even." "Thank you," said Lin Feng smiling. "We should determine a strategy to fight against Emperor Dong. If we don't kill him now, we'll be stuck together forever. If we disperse, he'll keep chasing us," said Emperor Wen, who was standing next to his father. "The messenger also said that we'd have to send our disciples abroad within 30 days, otherwise he'd close the passage," said Emperor Devamara. Everybody looked pensive. 30 days would pass quickly, especially now that Emperor Dong has started hunting people. "Our chances of survival are very low if we see our students off," said Emperor Yu. People were surprised. "Some extremely strong people control the Imperial Assassin Union, so we can't remain enemies with them. If our disciples leave this small world, they won't be able to escape from those people in the Holy City. The messenger probably works with them too. So what should we do?" Everyone looked at Emperor Yu. They trusted him a lot these days. "Emperor Yu, you're a member of the Watchers Union, right?" asked the Assassin Emperor. "Indeed," said Emperor Yu. "The Great Ape Emperor is also one of them. The old emperor from the Celestial Palace of the Immortals is the former Watcher's father. There are probably some things I don't understand clearly, but everybody can trust me. The Imperial Assassin Union, since the wedding ceremony, keeps proving what kind of intentions they harbor. They don't care about the rules, so if we leave, we will end up in the tiger's mouth. I can prove it. The assassins in the Qi Empire and those cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer who controlled cosmic energies weren't cultivators of the Qi clan or the Sikong clan, they are probably from behind the scenes. In the past, they didn't get involved in the affairs of this world, but now they do. This shows how badly they want to control Ba Huang and Jiu Yu, and that even the messenger is corrupt," said Emperor Wen. "Emperor Wen, why did those disciples attack their teachers that day?" "They are controlled by those people who control the Imperial Assassin Union. Some people decide to join one group or the other, so it must have to do with their agreement," said Emperor Wen. Everybody looked at Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu nodded. Indeed, initially, there was an agreement of balance, but in practice, there is no equilibrium. If our disciples leave, they will be captured by the Imperial Assassin Union. So what can we do? Asked the Assassin Emperor. They weren't surprised that those who control the Imperial Assassin Union would do such things. There is a solution, said Emperor Yu. We all leave this world, said Emperor Yu. Everyone had already thought of that, but it seemed drastic. But the messenger was corrupt, he would never let them leave. Emperor Yu knew what everybody was thinking, so he said, therefore, there's only one solution. Since the messenger violated the rules of this world, we can force him to open the passage and let us pass. That's the only option. We have no other choice. Force the messenger. Everybody thought that was insane. The messenger controlled that world, and he had a very particular social status. Indeed, that's the only way, thought everybody. It's easier said than done though, said Emperor Devamara while sighing. That's why we need to be all together. I will try to find a way to make the messenger, Emperor Dong, and the old emperor of the Si Kong clan come to Sword City. When the time comes, we'll act at the same time and leave the world, said Emperor Yu calmly. The news that all the emperors were in Sword City quickly spread everywhere. At the same time, Emperor Yu shouted and insulted the messenger repeatedly. The other emperors did the same. They expressed their discontentment and insulted the messenger, telling him that he didn't deserve to be the messenger. Slowly, people learnt about the existence of a mysterious messenger. They didn't understand why the emperors insulted him though. Then, news spread that the emperors of Ba Huang intended to occupy Sword City and stay there with their disciples. They said they didn't intend to leave. What was going on? Were the emperors not going to leave Sword City anymore? All of them? Back at the Sun Castle, an old man's facial expression was ice cold. They think I can't hear them? Said the messenger. Emperor Dong smiled in a cold way and said, maybe they're trying to infuriate you. What you mean to say is that a cornered beast can do anything? Said the messenger, frowning. He rolled up his sleeves and said, it's ridiculous. They're a bunch of ignorant people. Do they think they can defeat me? They want to bring about their own destruction, said Emperor Dong, smiling in a cold way. Chapter 1522. Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra. More and more people gathered in Sword City. Lin Feng and the others were walking in the city center of Sword City. Emperor Yu, Emperor Wen and Yen Di were next to Lin Feng. Because of Emperor Dong, they didn't dare disperse. In the air, the mirror flashed and illuminated them. Lin Feng immediately stopped. He's coming, they thought. Emperor Dong knew where they were. Lin Feng and the others continued walking in Sword City as if they didn't suspect anything. Lin Feng, Emperor Wen, Emperor Yu. The news is real. The emperors are not leaving Sword City. Lin Feng and the others didn't hide anything. They dare walk outside, thought some people. Emperor Dong was a medium-level emperor, so he could defeat them easily. Who's that Taoist? It seems like he's also an emperor, thought some people when they saw Yen Di. He had the demeanor of a transcendent being, and he didn't have the eyes of a Taoist monk. You don't understand? That's the new emperor of the Fire Mountain. When he was still a Zun cultivator, he fooled all the emperors. Now, he's broken through to the Huang Qi layer. He even made Emperor Peng struggle the last time they fought, said some people who had heard about Yen Di. Boom! In a flash, a terrifying qi surface. However, as soon as that terrifying qi surrounded them, Yen Di jumped, and lights illuminated the space. Then they all disappeared. Boom! A terrifying energy crashed where they initially were, and Emperor Dong appeared. His attack had failed, so he glanced around. You again! Shouted Emperor Dong furiously. That damn Taoist monk was so fast, and he controlled marks to an extreme degree. Kaboom! Thunders sounded in the sky. A silhouette appeared. He wore a white robe and was surrounded by lightning. Who's that? Thought some people. The messenger. Yen Di, Lin Feng and the others looked at that strong cultivator. That was the messenger. He was a thunder cultivator. I heard that some people were unhappy with the messenger's measures, said the messenger angrily. You're joking. We would never dare say anything about your highness the messenger, said Emperor Yu, smiling indifferently. Some more people appeared. The old emperor from the Sea Kong clan was even there. Together, there were 3 medium-level emperors on their side. "Do you think I'm stupid?" said the messenger. Thunderous energies surrounded Emperor Yu, making him feel paralyzed. "You said I didn't deserve to be a messenger. You said you hoped I'd die. You said all those things." Terrifying thunder energies continued to surround Emperor Yu. "I did say that, but you did violate the rules, didn't you? Since you violated the rules, you're not doing your job right, am I wrong?" said Emperor Yu. While Emperor Yu and the messenger were talking, more emperors appeared around him. Emperor Wen's father, the old emperor of the celestial palace of the immortals. "Right, as a messenger, I shouldn't get involved, but since you all humiliated me and said you wished I would die, I have no choice but to act," said the messenger. He had obviously noticed the emperors surrounding him, but he didn't care. Emperor Dong started releasing energies to attack Emperor Wen's father, while the old emperor of the Sea Kong clan released energies to attack the other old emperor. "Emperor Yu, Lin Feng, move back," said Yen Di. Emperor Yu was injured, and Lin Feng was still too weak. Emperor Yu and Lin Feng moved away. Then the messenger said, "I'm the messenger and I possess punishing thunders. Today I will punish you. Die." Suddenly, purple, thunderous energies lit the sky. Then, lightning ceaselessly fell. Kaboom! The thunders crashed, but Lin Feng was still safe and sound. The Watcher's father had appeared in front of Emperor Yu and him. "Go," said the Watcher's father to Lin Feng and Emperor Yu. The messenger groaned coldly and chased them. Could they escape? "Piss off," said someone else. Then, someone suddenly appeared in front of the messenger. Terrifying lights surrounded his thunderous energies, and a pitch-black fire started burning. The messenger had a feeling that he was in danger. "You must want to die," shouted the messenger as he released more thunderous energies. The punishing lightnings crashed onto the lights, and some cracks appeared, but the Taoist monk was still alive. "You studied the Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra," said the Taoist monk. The messenger suddenly looked astonished. "Who are you? How do you know about the Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra?" In that small world, how could there be someone who knew his skills? There aren't that many thunder skills, and amongst them, that one is very weak. So, it can only be the Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra, explained Yen Di mockingly. The Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra was an incredibly powerful skill which had been created by a great emperor, but surprisingly, Yen Di said it was weak. Actually, the Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra wasn't that weak, it was just that Yen Di was mocking him. "What do you understand?" said the messenger angrily. "Amongst thunder attacks, you have the Anatara World Destroying Thunder Sutra, from the godly crime-punishing ancient scriptures, the original Brahma Thunder Sutra. And yet you're telling me that your Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra is good?" said Yen Di mockingly. The messenger was astonished again. Those scriptures Yen Di was talking about were all really, incredibly, astonishingly terrifying. Chapter 1523, Arrogant Zhou Tian Shao, / The messenger didn't say much more. He shook his hand and 9 punishing thunders descended from the sky towards Yen Di. Yen Di shook his hands and terrifying marks appeared in front of him. Both a moon and a sun formed, each containing terrifying energies. The 9 lightnings broke as they crashed onto the patterns, but then they reappeared again 1,000 meters away. The messenger wasn't an emperor from Ba Huang, he was a medium-level emperor from the Holy City, so he was a lot stronger than the emperors from Ba Huang. He was in charge of the passage between the real world and the small world, so technically, apart from high-level emperors, people had to go through him to get to the Holy City. "Yen Di, go and fight against Emperor Dong. Don't give him any time." Yen Di moved away without saying anything. He ran from the messenger to Emperor Dong. The messenger was surprised and then glared at the Watcher's father. "Messenger, you violated the rules," said the Watcher's father hoarsely. "I control punishing thunders. Who can punish me in this place?" yelled the messenger. "You will be punished for violating the rules," said the Watcher's father. Lin Feng was already far away. The Watcher's father had taken him and Emperor Yu very far away. The 6 Desires Empress and the others were there too. At that moment, in the distance, 2 silhouettes appeared. Lin Feng sensed that those people wanted to kill him, so he turned around. Zhou Tianrua and his brother, they were in Sword City too. That's Lin Feng, said Zhou Tianxiao, who instantly released golden energies. Lin Feng ignored Zhou Tianxiao. You come out yourself or I'll come and kill you, said Zhou Tianxiao. Lin Feng frowned and said, You came to avenge that piece of trash? Lin Feng then looked at Zhou Tianrua mockingly. Zhou Tianrua, it seems like the word useless was created to describe exactly you. You're such a crappy cultivator that you've made your brother handle your own fights. Zhou Tianrua looked furious. Lin Feng was making fun of him. Zhou Tianxiao glared at Lin Feng, and then suddenly started running towards him while releasing golden energies. He's an emperor and he wants to kill a weaker cultivator? How ridiculous! Emperor Devamara jumped towards Zhou Tianxiao. Zhou Tianxiao didn't hesitate, he continued running while releasing energies. At the same time, he punched the air in Emperor Devamara's direction. Boom! Emperor Devamara was propelled backwards, his arm even felt sore. A bunch of short-sighted people, what do you understand about cultivation? Said Zhou Tianxiao. He continued running forwards while releasing oppressive energies as if he hadn't seen the other emperors. Go! Even though Emperor Yu was injured, he could still use cosmic energy. He shouted furiously, and some mountains appeared in the sky, instantly oppressing Zhou Tianxiao. Zhou Tianxiao punched them, and they immediately fell apart. His body even pierced through a mountain. He had a golden aura which made his body seemingly indestructible. I'll teach you about cultivation, said Zhou Tianxiao. Illusion! The Six Desires Empress jumped forwards and smiled in a seductive way. Zhou Tianxiao's facial expression didn't change at all. He wasn't affected by her attacks either. Dodge! A gigantic golden hand descended from the sky. The golden holy energy from that attack was way more powerful than Zhou Tianruo's. Zhou Tianxiao slapped the Six Desires Empress and made her fly away. His energies and determination were impressive. What could Lin Feng do now? Phew! A gigantic black stick appeared and descended from the sky. Zhou Tianxiao suddenly turned around and raised his hands. Quickly, his golden hands collided with the wooden stick and Zhou Tianxiao was propelled away. What an army, thought Zhou Tianxiao, looking at all the emperors. You're an emperor, do you think killing young cultivators is something you can be proud of? I don't care about pride, I just want to teach him a lesson. He attacked my little brother, so I can kill him if I want to, said Zhou Tianxiao in a cold way. Die! Shouted Zhou Tianxiao. Suddenly, millions of golden holy imprints appeared. The great ape emperor used his gigantic destruction rod spell again, but the countless golden holy threads of energies pierced through it. Zhou Tianxiao shouted furiously, and a holy golden sword shot out of his mouth, piercing through the gigantic stick and heading towards Lin Feng. Arg! The great ape emperor shouted furiously and he himself grew. Zhou Tianxiao looked a bit scared, but he looked at Lin Feng again and said, Look at me. Terrifying energies penetrated Lin Feng's brain. Then, Zhou Tianxiao rose up in the air. The great ape emperor was a strong cultivator, strong enough to stop Zhou Tianxiao from killing Lin Feng at least. If I see you again, I'll kill you, said Zhou Tianxiao. Then, he glanced at the emperors and Lin Feng and said, You people are weak, in a one-on-one battle, I'll kill you all. Then, Zhou Tianxiao and Zhou Tianrua left. Chapter 1524. Emperor Wu Tianjian's intervention. That guy is very young and is already a low-level emperor. He's even stronger than me, said the Six Desires Empress indifferently. No need to compare yourself. We are in a small world, so we don't have access to the most powerful skills. We can only rely on ourselves in this world or cosmic energies. It's only natural that he is stronger than us, said Emperor Yu indifferently. Indeed, leaving this place will benefit us, said the great ape emperor as placed his wooden stick on his shoulder. He gazed into the distance and continued watching those terrifying battles. At that moment, the messenger slowly walked forwards while releasing more punishing thunders. The area slowly turned into a type of thunderous world. Then the messenger said, This place is my world, I am the punisher here. Fighting against me means fighting against the sky. Thunderous lights appeared in his eyes. Those eyes could pierce through the Watcher's father's body. That's an illusion, thought the Watcher's father. His facial expression suddenly changed. Slash. Terrifying sword lights lacerated the Thunder world. The messenger suddenly looked astonished. He sensed how terrifying those sword energies were above his head, and they were becoming even more powerful. He was even suffocating. Who's that? The messenger's face turned pale. He saw an old man in the sky. There was no sword. That person was a sword. The thunderous ocean turned into a sword ocean. The messenger's facial expression changed drastically. He raised his hands and thunders rolled in waves, but the old man continued walking ahead. The messenger felt like he was being strangled. That feeling worsened the closer the old man got. The messenger wanted to run away, but he couldn't. If he turned around, maybe then that sword would stab him in the back. So, he had to face the old man. The old man was Emperor Wu Tianjian. His wrinkles had almost disappeared though. He looked as sharp as a sword, instead of his usual sickly old self. "You don't rule this world, you're just a doorman," said Emperor Wu Tianjian in a sharp way. The messenger didn't dare look at Emperor Wu Tianjian's eyes. He feared that they would stab him if he did. The messenger looked distraught. "You don't rule this world, you're just a doorman?" In the distance, Emperor Dong and the old emperor from the Si-Kong clan saw that someone was oppressing the messenger. But how come there was such a strong cultivator in that small world? What would happen if such a strong cultivator used his full strength? Could he even pierce through the sky? "Emperor Dong," said Emperor Wu Tianjian in a sharp way. Sharp energies surrounded Emperor Dong and imprisoned him. "You're too greedy. From now on, the Imperial Assassin Union will disappear from Ba Huang," said Emperor Wu Tianjian in a calm and serene way, as if he were the leader of that world. "Besides, give me the item which allows you to track people. I'll decide whether your successor will be eligible to receive it or not," said Emperor Wu Tianjian. Emperor Dong was even more furious. "What? Do you want me to take the initiative and take it?" said Emperor Wu Tianjian aggressively. Sword energies were whistling as they surrounded Emperor Dong. Even the messenger looked weak in front of him. If Emperor Wu Tianjian wanted to kill them, he could. "I'll report that to the elders," said Emperor Dong, shaking. Then he took out the ancient mirror and threw it at Emperor Wu Tianjian. Emperor Wu Tianjian looked at the mirror and put it away. The emperors took in a deep breath of relief. "All right, this place needs some peace and tranquility for the next 100 years. We should go," said Emperor Wu Tianjian to the messenger. Then, some people appeared behind Emperor Wu Tianjian. The emperors were gathering behind him with their disciples. They all wanted to leave that place together. The messenger's life was in Emperor Wu Tianjian's hands, so he had to obey. He slowly turned around and walked forwards. Emperor Dong was still oppressed by sword energies. He was suffocating from them even. Some time passed and they all left Sword City. Was that Emperor Wu Tianjian? Many people had observed the battle and were wondering. They would never forget that battle. Emperor Wu Tianjian and the messenger, they had never seen such strong cultivators in their lives. They still didn't know that their world was fake though. Clouds rolled in the sky. The old man from the Celestial Walls Manor was upset when he saw that I'm late. Then a strong wind started blowing again, and there were 2 people standing beside him. At that same time, a group of people arrived at the Sun Castle. The messenger put his hand on the sun pattern and it opened itself. It was a door, the door to the Holy City. Chapter 1525. The first battle in the Great World. Lin Feng couldn't believe his eyes. What kind of world would the Holy City be? Lin Feng turned around and glanced at the palace one last time. He didn't know when he would come back because nobody could know what would happen in the Great World. "Go," said Emperor Wu Tianjian, smiling at Lin Feng in a gentle way. Then Lin Feng nodded. "Let's go together." Those people gradually crossed the gate. People crossed the gate, one after the other. Lin Feng then followed the crowd ahead. Very quickly, nobody was left in the castle apart from Emperor Wu Tianjian, Emperor Dong and the messenger. After they left, Emperor Wu Tianjian didn't leave. He looked at the messenger in a cold way and put his sword on his throat. You're just the doorman here, so do your job. If you violate the rules again, I guarantee you that I won't let you off. The messenger was petrified. His mouth twitched. After crossing the door, Lin Feng and the others had an incredible sensation. They turned around and they only saw a normal door. That door didn't have incredible empty space energies or anything, but it was probably still significant. One step and they were in a new world. They arrived in an ancient castle with a long corridor. Are we already in the great world? Thought the crowd. They walked ahead in the corridor rather slowly, as if they were scared to see something happen. Suddenly, everybody stopped. Get ready to fight. They don't care about young people here, so they could kill you, said Emperor. Everybody nodded and continued walking. They left the corridor and took their first steps outside. It was very windy, making the crowd feel cold. There was a vast desert at the end of the corridor. There were 2 people waiting there, their eyes were closed. After the crowd stepped out, those people's eyes suddenly opened. Those must be the people who determined the 30-day rule, thought the crowd. The Imperial Assassin Union's rulers didn't intend to let them off. Us emperors can fight while everyone else should escape as far as you can. Boom, boom! The ground shook and dust rose up in the air. A terrifying cosmic strength cage trapped them and a dragon inside. The emperors didn't have time to protect the weaker cultivators. Those people didn't want to kill them, they only wanted to capture them alive. In the desert, a terrifying sun pattern appeared. The dragon looked fierce, like it wanted to break the cage. Boom! A silhouette suddenly shot out. He didn't want to fight, he wanted to run away instead. Emperor Devamara. Lin Feng recognized him. Wasn't he as determined as the other emperors? The Imperial Assassin Union's targets weren't those emperors, they only wanted the young people. Emperor Devamara wanted Xiaoyu to choose his own path, so nobody blamed him, but some people felt uncomfortable. It's an empty space seal. Chapter 1526. Mu Chen, Lin Feng and Emperor Yu were bombarded by energies, but they were protected by a mountain. Meteorites fell from the sky. The gigantic stone hand and the terrifying lights falling down made things look apocalyptic. Lin Feng, run away. Emperor Yu pushed Lin Feng away. Teacher! Shouted Lin Feng. He was dumbstruck. His teacher couldn't die. The stones didn't care about Lin Feng's thoughts. The one who was fighting against Emperor Yu was an earth cultivator like him, but he was stronger than Emperor Yu. A gigantic hand softly appeared in front of Emperor Yu. Brother! Shouted Lin Feng hoarsely. That was Mu Chen. Maybe that strength was going to kill Lin Feng's teacher and Mu Chen. He wasn't an emperor, so he couldn't deal with that strength. Even if he were an emperor, he still couldn't deal with that strength. You must want to die, shouted Mu Chen. His eyes were bloodshot. Suddenly, Mu Chen released energies which turned into millions of hands and moved towards the oppressive energies. Mu Chen himself also turned into a light. Energies rolled in waves. The enemy was wearing a beautiful earthen armor, and it was extremely thick. Mu Chen's hands assaulted him, making him shake down to his soul. Die, said Mu Chen coldly. He continued assaulting the enemy. Lin Feng saw the emperor's armor crackle. How's that possible? Thought Lin Feng. His heart was pounding. Lin Feng was amazed, astonished, dumbstruck. That emperor from the great world could oppress Emperor Yu, but Mu Chen was crushing him. Lin Feng wasn't the only one who was astonished. Many other emperors who were fighting were just as amazed. The first emperor had died, an emperor from the holy city. Buddy, are you okay? Mu Chen looked at Emperor Yu. He felt guilty. Lin Feng was completely astonished. Buddy? Emperor sure, thought Lin Feng immediately. That mysterious disciple wasn't a cultivator at the very top of the Zun Qi layer. It was Emperor Shi. He had never left Tiantai. He was there the entire time. Buddy, whispered Lin Feng. Then he smiled in a resplendent way. The 2 cultivators looked like great friends. No wonder Emperor Shi had reacted like that. Emperor Yu had already been injured before. He controls soul strength, that's why he can hide himself so well. He could turn into a cultivator at the very top of the Zun Qi layer and hide amongst us. He was protecting us without telling us. thought Lin Feng. Tiantai's disciples had gone through a lot, but someone had been secretly protecting them the entire time. Little bastard, hurry up, said Lin Feng to Yan Di in the distance. Little bastard, don't you think I'm already trying? Said Yan Di loudly. The sealed area was proving difficult to destroy. Lin Feng, Qing Lin, get next to me, said Mu Chen. Then, everybody surrounded Emperor Yu. A metallic ringing sounded as 3 silhouettes appeared in front of Mu Chen. One of them had a spear which contained terrifying ghostly qi. On his left, there was someone with an iron tower, then the one on the right was skinny and controlled terrifying wind energies. A medium-level emperor and 2 low-level emperors. Lin Feng felt like they were suffocating from those pressures. Lin Feng looked at his fellow disciples and smiled. We must all live, for Tiantai, for our teachers. For Tiantai, shouted Ho Qing Lin. Slash. The terrifying spear slashed ahead. It was as if wailing ghosts were throwing themselves at Mu Chen. Mu Chen shivered, but then turned into a million shadows, which immediately moved towards the enemy. Slash, slash. The long spear turned into a black shadow itself. Quickly, it turned into 100 spears and attacked the different shadows Mu Chen had created. The one with the iron tower also jumped, the ground exploding under his feet. He turned into a gigantic stone and created countless stones which surrounded Lin Feng and the other disciples. The wind cultivator flew towards Emperor Yu. At the same, he released wind cosmic energies which oppressed the disciples form Tiantai. He wanted to capture Tiantai's disciples while killing Emperor Yu. I'll block him, you go and kill the others, shouted Mu Chen. Then, an old man in a golden robe jumped forwards and threw himself at the strong cultivator with the spear. Slash. The long spear slashed ahead and pierced the old emperor's body. Then the attacker smiled evilly. Take him, shouted the old emperor. Mu Chen threw himself at that cultivator. Be careful, shouted the cultivator with the spear. The old emperor had surprisingly grabbed the spear which was stuck in his body. Die, shouted that cultivator. Qi emerged from the spear, but the old man still held onto the spear. Immortal blood. That cultivator recognized what was happening. Mu Chen then landed in front of the wind cultivator, and that person's soul started shaking violently. After that, Mu Chen crushed his body just like he had done just before. He's my teacher and the Watcher's father, whispered Lin Feng. The others looked amazed as well. As many people had already said, anyone could wear a plaited bamboo hat and become a Watcher. Chapter 1527. Escape. Soul strength is even more powerful than physical strength, thought Lin Feng. The Earth Emperor suddenly stopped. His Earth cosmic energy turned into stone cosmic energy, making his defense even more terrifying. He didn't fear ordinary medium-level emperors, but he feared Mu Chen and his soul attacks. At that moment, another horrible shriek sounded. Teacher! Yiren Lei looked extremely sad. Her teacher was softly lying on the ground, her face was deathly pale. A terrifying golden light emerged from her body, her cosmic energies were leaving her body, and she was dying. Yiren, you have to live on, said the Six Desires Empress smiling. While Mu Chen was killing the 2 emperors, another enemy who was a medium-level emperor killed the empress. There were more fighters than they had thought. Boom! A terrifying strength destroyed the Six Desires Empress body. Then the medium-level emperor ran towards Mu Chen. Lin Feng's face turned deathly pale. If Yan Di didn't manage to break that empty space's wall, they would all die. At that moment, the ground shook and a terrifying fire appeared. Explosions sounded and the ground quaked. Yan Di had done it. The medium-level emperor who had killed the Six Desires Empress had just landed in front of Mu Chen. He glanced at Yan Di. How could people from that small world break that empty space? Si Kong Zhangming. Come and fight against them, I will deal with him, said a strong cultivator to another medium-level emperor. Then, someone else threw themselves at Yan Di. He was fast enough that he could easily catch up with Yan Di. Let's go. Disperse, shouted Mu Chen to Lin Feng and the others. His soul even started burning. Brother, shouted people from Tiantai. Even though they now knew Mu Chen was emperor sure, they continued calling him brother because they were used to it. Suddenly, several of Mu Chen's shadows appeared. He grabbed all those who weren't emperors and left with them in different directions. "Where are you going?" shouted Si Kong Zhangming. Space became distorted as a pair of terrifying eyes loomed overhead, breaking Mu Chen's illusions apart. Mu Chen released his godly awareness and controlled millions of threads to attack Si Kong Zhangming. Meanwhile, Lin Feng and Emperor Yu were in the arms of one of Mu Chen's shadows. "Lin Feng, escape," said the shadow to Lin Feng. Mu Chen's illusions could surprisingly speak. The clones who were carrying Emperor Yu and Lin Feng were running so fast that their feet were on fire. "Brother, you take care too," said Lin Feng to Mu Chen's clone. "Don't worry. They can't kill me that easily," said Mu Chen while smiling. "I can only take you this far. The area here is very vast, so they won't find you," said Mu Chen as he was becoming more illusory. He was too far from his original body, so he was losing strength. "Teacher," shouted Lin Feng to Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu was injured, so Lin Feng had to take care of him. "I'm all right," said Emperor Yu, even though he looked nervous. Lin Feng knew that Emperor Yu was worried about Mu Chen and the other disciples. "Teacher, we need to hurry," said Lin Feng. Even though Mu Chen had brought them quite far, they still weren't safe. Emperors could still easily catch up with them. Then they immediately started running. "Is someone there?" At that moment, Lin Feng sensed some extremely powerful qi in the distance. Were any of those people emperors? "Lin Feng, amongst those 4 people, one of them is an emperor," said Emperor Yu. Lin Feng felt desperate. Unless those people didn't harbor ill intentions, Lin Feng and Emperor Yu were going to die. Without Yan Di and Mu Chen, nobody would have been able to escape from the empty space. What a bastard! If the messenger hadn't violated the rules, they wouldn't be in such a terrible situation. "You think you can escape us?" yelled the emperor of the group who was chasing them. Surprisingly, an injured emperor had left the small world. "Let us pass and I'll give you an incredible treasure, a treasure that you wouldn't believe could exist," said Lin Feng. The emperor was surprised and smiled. "What treasure?" "A great emperor's imperial scriptures," said Lin Feng calmly. The emperor was staring at Lin Feng, full of suspicion. Lin Feng had imperial scriptures? "You can't kill me as an excuse because it's in my godly awareness. If you kill me, it'll be gone. If you don't believe me, then you can just leave it up to fate," said Lin Feng. "Can you prove you have imperial scriptures?" "The skills I use are part of imperial scriptures." "Sense it," said Lin Feng. Suddenly his entire body turned black, and he looked like a demon. "That qi matches an emperor's qi." The emperor's eyes looked even more surprised. Great emperor's scriptures could make any cultivator of the Huang qi layer go insane. "Let us go and I'll transmit it to you," said Lin Feng. The emperor looked pensive though. Would he really transmit that great emperor's ancient scriptures if he let them off? Chapter 1528. Conditions. The 3 cultivators who were with the emperor also looked interested. Great emperor's imperial scriptures were priceless items. "All right, I accept," said the emperor, smiling happily yet looking at Lin Feng in a deep, meaningful way. He still didn't believe that Lin Feng would offer great imperial scriptures that easily. If he did, then he'd have no bargaining chips left, and he'd die. "You should first prove your sincerity," said Lin Feng, glancing at the 3 other people indifferently. "What do you mean?" asked the emperor, who was now releasing thunderous energies. "How can I know that you won't kill me afterwards to make things secret?" "Use your thunderous energies to kill them. Betray your group and I will trust you, then I'll transmit the imperial scriptures to you," said Lin Feng in a cold way. "You must pay the price to obtain something great." "He's very smart. Even if I kill them, he won't transmit the imperial scriptures to me," thought that person. Then he said, "If I kill them, I could also kill you after you transmit the scriptures to me. Therefore, I will first transmit half of it to you, then you will follow us, and you will also protect us along the way. After my teacher is cured, I will teach you the rest. That way, everybody will be safe," said Lin Feng, smiling. Thunders surrounded around Lin Feng. "Transmit the great imperial scriptures to me and I'll let you pass, otherwise, I'll kill you on the spot," demanded that person. Lin Feng remained calm. He looked indifferent and said, "I don't have much time." 3 seconds. Apart from the great imperial scriptures, I'll also transmit the dream of life ancient scriptures to you. You must die, said that person while releasing thunderous energies. A head exploded, but it wasn't Lin Feng's head. No, when the two others saw their friend die, they began to run away. But the emperor was merciless. He used force to surround those two people. Then thunderous cosmic energies moved towards them. The strong cultivator turned to Lin Feng and said coldly, "Is that enough? If you're not insane, you can never become strong. This place is not safe, so take us away first," said Lin Feng smiling. The emperor wasn't happy to hear that though, so he yelled, "Half of the imperial scriptures. You betrayed your group because of great imperial scriptures. If someone finds us, they'll kill you and we won't be able to escape," shouted Lin Feng. That emperor instantly looked upset. Lin Feng kept fooling around, but he was caught up in his greed now, so he had to cope with Lin Feng. That desert is extremely vast. There are even some animal clans and tribes along the way. When we arrive at the nearest tribe, you must give me half of it. If you don't, I'll kill you both without hesitation," said the emperor coldly. "Don't worry," said Lin Feng nodding agreeably. Emperor Yu nodded too. Emperor Yu remained calm and serene. He was seated cross-legged in the air, and he said nothing. He was happy that Lin Feng was brave, but at the same time, he wasn't reassured that Emperor posed a threat to them. "Take us away now. We're all in danger," said Lin Feng to the emperor. He didn't refuse, he took them away very quickly. He hoped he would have the opportunity to kill them after having received the whole scriptures. He especially looked forward to killing Lin Feng. The three of them moved very quickly. Just like the emperor had said, that desert was huge. They flew for a long time without seeing anyone. Lin Feng looked back to where Mu Chen and everyone else were. But he was too far now, he could only hope the best for them. Lin Feng had his head turned to the side as they flew forwards because sand kept assaulting his face. It was a bit painful, but Lin Feng remained determined. He was alive, he was becoming stronger, and he had arrived in the great world. He'd have to remember those influential groups for later. "Lin Feng, it was difficult for you to become strong, it was also difficult to leave the small world. Now, you must always be determined, and you must possess an indomitable will. Don't let anything stop you," said Emperor Yu in a gentle way. "Don't worry, teacher, I will," said Lin Feng smiling at his teacher. "That's good. You're so talented, someday, you'll amaze the great world," said Emperor Yu to Lin Feng. "Teacher, you need to remember that advice for yourself. You will be healed soon," said Lin Feng. He could tell that Emperor Yu didn't sound so optimistic about himself. "All right." Emperor Yu nodded. The emperor's purple eyes twinkled. Healed? Those people would die sooner or later. Lin Feng finally saw some buildings in the desert and some tribal villages. Those villages were as large as Yangzhou City, but the surroundings weren't much to look at. Everything was old and dry. "What is this place in the great world?" asked Lin Feng to the emperor. "That desert only exists to connect the small world to the great world," said the emperor vaguely. He didn't feel like explaining things to Lin Feng. "We have access to the small world I come from in the desert, but do we have access to other small worlds?" asked Lin Feng. "Indeed. We're almost in the village now, so remember your promise," said the emperor. Then they descended from the sky. "We still need to get closer. This is only the periphery of the village, so if your friends come, it won't be safe," said Lin Feng. The emperor groaned, so Lin Feng continued, "We'll descend when we see the 9th ancient fortress and I'll transmit half of the imperial scriptures to you then. Then, we'll continue." Chapter 1529. For life the emperor stared at Lin Feng, but then he continued. They could already see the 9th fortress, so he flew ahead. Many people raised their heads in the village. Was that an emperor? These days, the celestial Qi castle has been dispatching a lot of strong cultivators to the desert and they're fighting a lot. The small worlds must be open, thought some people on the ground. Immediately after, they lowered their heads again, minding their own business. That village was a lot larger than Yangzhou City, but for strong cultivators, distances weren't that important. Quickly, the emperor, Lin Feng and Emperor Yu arrived outside of the 9th fortress and landed. The Emperor looked at Lin Feng. This time, he knew he couldn't find any other excuse. "I'll transmit half of the imperial scriptures to you using my godly awareness," said Lin Feng. The Emperor's eyes were twinkling with greed. "Are you ready?" asked Lin Feng. "Let's do it," said the Emperor, nodding and closing his eyes, but he wasn't relaxed. He continued observing Lin Feng and Emperor Yu with his godly awareness. If they tried to do anything funny, he'd kill them. Lin Feng released his godly awareness towards the Emperor's third eye. It contained the demon imperial scriptures. The cultivator opened his eyes after a short time and inspected his memories. His eyes were filled with greed. As expected, great imperial scriptures, very powerful. "Unfortunately, I'm not a demon cultivator," said the Emperor. Even though Lin Feng had only broken through to the 7th Zunqi layer with the demon imperial scriptures, he was probably a lot stronger than ordinary cultivators of the 8th Zunqi layer. If he knew the imperial scriptures well, he might even fight against cultivators of the 9th Zunqi layer. "When will you give me the other half?" asked the Emperor. He looked a bit reassured. He almost sounded friendly. "My teacher has been injured by cosmic energies and I need him to heal. Otherwise, I won't be safe after you get the full deal," said Lin Feng. The Emperor smiled and said in a gentle way, "How could I? I would definitely let you go if you gave me the full scriptures." The Emperor was in a great mood. He really thought about letting Lin Feng off. Of course, he just had that thought. He had betrayed his group, so he couldn't let Lin Feng off. "Master, my teacher is injured. I need you to help me find a solution. After all, you're very strong and we're not familiar with the great world. The sooner you help, the faster you'll get the full scriptures." "Thank you, Master," said Lin Feng, smiling politely. He even called the Emperor Master. Lin Feng had an idea, but nobody knew what it was. Emperor Yu sighed. He knew that Lin Feng was obstinate and unruly. He was proud because Lin Feng was talented, but he was sad because if he hadn't been injured, he would have been able to protect Lin Feng. In this desert, there are many extremely powerful animal clans. They pose a threat to the tribes of the desert. However, those who are from tribe fortresses also grow quickly. Each of these fortresses have a healer. We can try and find one. However, your teacher has been injured by an emperor, so unless we find a healer who is an emperor, he won't be able to recover completely," said the Emperor in a gentle way. "Why don't we leave the desert? The great world can't only be a huge desert," said Lin Feng. "This great world had to have powerful cities. My group controls small worlds and not only yours. All the tribe fortresses here belong to them, so you can't imagine how powerful they are. Even though I don't know if other people escaped, like you, this time they really have clear and precise goals that they will follow no matter what. They won't let any escapee off, but in this tribe fortress, you're safe," said the Emperor. Lin Feng sighed. What was the Imperial Assassin Union's goal? Did they have other goals for cleaning the small worlds? "So, Master, how can we heal my teacher?" asked Lin Feng. "We need to find a priestess," said the Emperor. "Each fortress has a priestess whose duty is to heal." Lin Feng and Emperor Yu followed him while hiding their qi, looking like ordinary people. After a short time, they arrived in front of the entrance to a tribe and crossed the door. It was a tribe and it wasn't a nice place. It was dusty, simple, and nothing was sophisticated. Everybody there were tanned to the color of copper. Lin Feng was too handsome in comparison. Many people looked at him in a way which made him feel uncomfortable. Lin Feng's skin was very white. He looked clean and elegant. In that place, there was nobody like him. "Don't show your strength. Be discreet, otherwise some people will inspect your strength and will know about us," said the Emperor, hiding his own qi too. He used telepathy to talk to them. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu nodded and followed. Chapter 1530. Dialogue. In the center of the territory, there was a tidy row of cottages surrounded by fields of medicinal herbs. There was a woman wearing a golden and white dress who was sorting herbs. "Yun, you brought so many herbs again," said an old man, smiling at the woman. "Grandpa, they contributed a lot. Without them, I wouldn't have gotten so much," replied Yun, gesturing towards a young man. "Hee hee, without you, They'd have lost their lives, said the old man smiling. A strong young man was carrying an animal body on his shoulders behind them. That animal was a few dozens of meters and was 7-8 meters tall. It had golden hair covering its body. Rongqing, you're really hard-working, said the old man. The woman smiled and looked Rongqing, who threw the animal body on the ground. Yun, here it is. Thank you, replied the young woman politely. Rongqing looked at her with love in his eyes and said, if everything's all right, I'm going. All right, said the girl, nodding. Rongqing didn't want to leave, but he left anyways. After a few steps, he stopped again after seeing 3 strangers walking towards the girl. Lin Feng sensed that the young man was looking at him. He inspected him and found that he wasn't weak, 4th Zun Qi layer even. Zun cultivators must be normal in the holy city, thought Lin Feng. He noticed many Zun cultivators all around, even cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer. He didn't see any emperors though. Who are you? Asked Rongqing to Lin Feng and the 2 others. We're looking for Mu Yun, said Lin Feng. The young woman raised her head and walked towards them. Rongqing was fixedly staring at them and prevented them from passing. What do you want from her? Rongqing, let them pass, said the woman. Rongqing then let them pass, but he followed them. What do you want from me? Asked Mu Yun directly. Lin Feng was surprised. She had an amazing body and she looked gentle. Unlike everybody else in the tribe, she also had very white skin. My teacher is injured. We would like you to heal him, said Lin Feng, pointing at Emperor Yu. Let me see. Mu Yun walked to Emperor Yu and put her hand on his shoulder. Then she released some pure celestial qi. After she inspected Emperor Yu's body, she said with surprise, your channel vessels are all broken. It's surprising that you're still alive or even look normal. My teacher's body is strong. Can you heal him though? Asked Lin Feng. Emperor Yu was still restraining his cosmic energies. Zun cultivators used their channel vessels to heal, but emperors were beyond strong in that if they still had qi, they didn't die. Let me try, but I'll need some time. I don't know if I'll succeed either. After all, I've never had such an injured patient, said Mu Yun, frowning. Thank you, said Lin Feng. At least they could try. Besides, they could hide there for some time. The desert was vast and there were many tribes. I have some empty cottages. You can stay there and rest in the meantime, said Mu Yun. Rongqing was upset, so he said using telepathy, Yun, we don't know who they are. How can you let them stay here? Who would hurt me when he's this severely injured? Asked Mu Yun, shaking her head. Even though Rongqing wasn't happy, what could he do? Lin Feng was nervous, especially when he saw people flying above them in the sky. He was especially worried about his friends. At night, Lin Feng was seated cross-legged and practicing cultivation calmly. Emperor Yu was in the same room as him. The Thunder Emperor was next door, but he couldn't sleep because he kept thinking about the great emperor's imperial scriptures. He was worried that Lin Feng could escape as well. But after a few days he felt more relaxed. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu stayed there and nobody came to look for them. Mu Yun wasn't an empress, but she was a great healer. She knew some amazing techniques. She concocted some medicine and Emperor Yu's channel vessels slowly healed. She couldn't heal his cosmic energies though. Lin Feng, Emperor Yu recovered a lot. Will you transmit the great emperor's ancient scriptures to me now? Asked the Thunder Emperor in a courtyard. Not yet, said Lin Feng, shaking his head. How long do I still have to wait? Asked the Thunder Emperor in a cold way. I will tell you when the right time comes, of course. Otherwise, you can just kill me, said Lin Feng in a cold way. Then he walked back to his cottage. The Emperor was furious, but he decided to wait. He waited for Lin Feng to leave before whispering, once you transmit the scriptures to me, you'll die. Lin Feng continued practicing cultivation day and night. Emperor Yu could only watch as Lin Feng practiced cultivation. Sometimes he saw Lin Feng's painful facial expressions and sighed. He didn't know what Lin Feng was studying, but it looked painful. Besides, he was practicing cultivation every day without break. Lin Feng had already been in that world for 7 days now. Back in a gigantic city in the desert, there was a gigantic castle which looked like a shrine. The flight of stairs which lead to the entrance was astonishingly lofty. At that moment, in that castle, a middle-aged man in golden clothes was punching an ancient wooden table furiously. The ground shook each time he threw a punch. Emperor Dong was there too. "How many days?" said someone in a weak voice. 7 days, said a strong cultivator respectfully. That strong cultivator was the one who had fought against Mu Chen, the medium-level emperor. 7 days, where are the people I want? Everybody lowered their heads. They didn't dare talk. "Seal the passages, if you see anyone, capture them," said that person furiously. "Besides, I will send people to inspect the desert, every single castle in the desert." Chapter 1531. Small world's people, inspect everything, yelled the middle-aged man, hammering on the table with his fists. "So many people escaped from you, I don't understand how you could let this happen." Those around him were covered in a cold sweat. Emperor Dong looked terrified. He didn't dare raise his head. At that moment, the middle-aged man slowly stood up, making the crowd around him feel extremely nervous. "Emperor Dong!" shouted the middle-aged man. Emperor Dong was shaking, but he replied, "Present. You're lucky that you have my blood. Even though we sent you to a small world because you couldn't rely on your own abilities to break through to the Huangqi layer, we still spent a lot of resources raising you," said the middle-aged man. Emperor Dong almost collapsed. He knew how bad-tempered that middle-aged man was. "I am fully devoted," said Emperor Dong shaking. "Since that sword emperor doesn't want to let us restrain the small world, go to the small world and tell everyone that the world they live in is just a small world controlled by stronger cultivators. Also, tell the messenger to relax the restrictions to come out. Let nature take its course," said the middle-aged man calmly. Emperor Dong's heart was pounding violently. He could only imagine how many people would want to leave that world if he told them that their world was fake. Many of them would want to come to the great world and the situation would be chaotic and apocalyptic. Relax the restrictions to come out. Emperor Dong didn't really understand, but he didn't dare ask. In the future, the strong cultivators from Ba Huang and Jiu Yu would want to live in the great world, including those who already came. A day later, Emperor Dong went back to Ba Huang. Emperor Qi and him started telling everyone that they lived in a small world and that the holy city was the real world. Many people were astonished. Shui Baiyao was in the celestial land of alchemists when she heard the news, so this is a small world. In the western part of Ba Huang, 2 beautiful girls looked at the sky and the clouds. All of this is fake? In the brutal part of Ba Huang, in the bestial imperial palace, a great oriental greenfinch rock attacked a mountain in rage before he flew up towards the sky, emitting sonic booms behind him. He looked ferocious as he said, "I'm a great oriental greenfinch rock, so I must leave Ba Huang and go to the great world. The sky can't stop me." "Diviner, you weren't exactly right." Many geniuses looked in the direction of eastern Ba Huang. It was said that the end of the world was there, that the passage to go to the great world was there. Lin Feng was sitting outside looking at a tree. He looked calm and serene, he wasn't releasing any qi. "Lin Feng, you're still here? How's your teacher?" asked an old man smiling. "He's much better, Papa Bai," said Lin Feng smiling. "Huh, Yun is the goddess of our tribe. No man has ever managed to seduce her, but you should try," said Papa Bai smiling. He was in a good mood. "But let me tell you, Yun wants a young man who is at least a cultivator at the top of the Zunqi layer, so good luck." "No hope," said Lin Feng smiling in a gentle way and shrugging, making Papa Bai laugh. "Papa Bai, you're talking about me in a bad way," said Mu Yun. Lin Feng turned around. She really looked beautiful as she healed Emperor Yu. Even Lin Feng, who was used to being with beautiful women, sighed. Lin Feng smiled at Mu Yun in a gentle and warm way. Mu Yun nodded at him but was surprised when she saw Lin Feng's resplendent smile. Apart from helping her teacher, she also allowed them to live with their tribe. She looked at them in a gentle way. They were different from all the men she had met in her life. They looked like they had gone through many hardships. "Lin Feng is here every day, and he has nothing to do. He's not even practicing cultivation. Even if he wanted to be in a relationship with you, I wouldn't agree," said Papa Bai jokingly. They were sitting on a bamboo chair looking at a tree. In the desert, A tree was a grand thing. Mu Yun smiled thinly, and Papa Bai didn't say anything. That night, the desert became cold as the sun set. Papa Bai and Mu Yun went back to their houses while Lin Feng went back to his courtyard. But suddenly, someone appeared in front of him with a mad look in his eyes. Then, a hand filled with thunderous energies grabbed his throat. "It's been 10 days. I've waited long enough." Lin Feng frowned. Emperor Yu came out of his cottage and said coldly, "Let him go. If he doesn't transmit the rest of the scriptures to me, I'll kill him," said the Thunder Emperor madly. Lin Feng nodded and said, "All right, let's go outside to the desert. I don't want to release my godly awareness here." This time, the Emperor was happily speechless. He hadn't thought that Lin Feng would immediately accept. He smiled and let go of Lin Feng. "Ah, good, you should have done that before. I won't hurt you anyways." "Let's go out," said Lin Feng. The Emperor Yu and Lin Feng were extremely fast as they flew in the night. In just a few seconds, they were already outside, and there was nobody in sight. "All right, here is good. Let's do it," said the Emperor impatiently. "Master, don't think of killing us to destroy any evidence. I also have the Dream of Life ancient scriptures, which in a month, I'll transmit them to you," said Lin Feng. The Thunder Emperor smiled and said, "All right, sorry. How could I ever kill you guys anyways?" He was thinking, Lin Feng is very vigilant. He wants to protect himself with that Dream of Life ancient scriptures. "No problem, I'll wait until I have all his treasures and kill him then." He was confident that a cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer couldn't possibly pose a threat to him, and Emperor Yu was an emperor from a small world and he was injured, so he couldn't fight against him either. "Master, I'm starting," said Lin Feng, who was condensing his godly awareness. The Thunder Emperor's eyes twinkled with excitement. Lin Feng's godly awareness moved into his third eye, but he couldn't relax at all. He kept glancing at Emperor Yu. However, a black strength penetrated the Thunder Emperor's third eye. He frowned after he sensed something. Then he suddenly opened his eyes and lightning emerged from them. Chapter 1532. Celestial Castles. He sensed cursing strength and a destructive godly awareness invade him. Lin Feng was just a cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer, and yet he dared plot against him. Thunders boomed, and lightning shot out from the Emperor. Boom! The Thunder Emperor was shaking as some soul-cursing energies exploded in his brain. Die! Lin Feng's godly awareness was still invading the Thunder Emperor's brain. He was also using his godly awareness palace with the soul-cursing energies. He knew he couldn't kill his enemy, so he was trying to stun him. Emperor Yu was an emperor, so he already knew what Lin Feng was going to do. While Lin Feng used his broken soul godly awareness on the Thunder Emperor, Emperor Yu attacked and released his most powerful cosmic energies. He immediately struck the Thunder Emperor. "Arg!" The Thunder Emperor shouted furiously. Suddenly, he released an infinite amount of thunder energies which crashed onto Emperor Yu's body. Emperor Yu had already made an armor out of cosmic energies for Lin Feng, but it broke away easily. "Arg!" Lin Feng shouted like a demon. Now, Lin Feng's sword lights moved towards the enemy. Kaboom! Thunders descended from the sky as a thunder god illusion appeared. This illusion was also holding a thunder hammer. "What a powerful spirit," thought Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu jumped forwards and released terrifying energies in the Thunder Emperor's direction. His physical body exploded and was destroyed, but because his spirit was so powerful, it didn't die with his body. Emperor Yu rose up in the air and released more cosmic energies to attack that spirit. With that, the enemy's spirit slowly faded. But the spirit didn't stop, it started running away instead. Emperor Yu and Lin Feng were lying on the ground. Emperor Yu's injuries were even more severe. Lin Feng's organs were injured as well. They hadn't even managed to kill the Emperor completely. Unfortunately, one more attack and they would have managed to kill him. But at least they were out of danger for now. "Teacher, are you all right?" Lin Feng crawled on the ground. "Could be better. Let's go back," said Emperor Yu, smiling and crawling up as well. He then said, "Lin Feng, you already did a great job." He managed to escape because his soul is stronger than many low-level emperors from Ba Huang. I used cosmic energies and destroyed his physical body but not his soul. Of course, I'm injured, otherwise I could have done better. Indeed, said Lin Feng laughing. They had been loud, so people were surely going to find out about them. They both immediately went back to the fortress. As expected, people were shouting and panicking after they heard the battle. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu got away from the crowd. They couldn't expose themselves, otherwise other enemies might find them. They opened the main gate and entered. Chapter 1533, Celestial Chi Castle. How do you know that I'm from a small world? Asked Lin Feng. The Celestial Chi Castle has been pretty agitated recently. Border controls have become stricter and they sent even strong cultivators to inspect the desert. They're even capturing people from abroad. Yesterday evening I heard sounds coming from your cottage and came over, but when I arrived you weren't there anymore. Then things happened outside, and after it stopped, you came back. From all of that, I guessed you were from a small world. Thank you for keeping our secrecy, said Lin Feng wholeheartedly. Don't thank me, I'm just doing my best. Some dangerous things might happen to you soon. The Celestial Chi Castle probably knows about yesterday evening already, said Mu Yun. Lin Feng's eyes twinkled as he said, all right, then we should leave. Will we be safer if we go to another tribe? Mu Yun shook her head. All the priestesses belong to them. I do too. If you go elsewhere, you'll draw more attention. If you stay here, I can do my best to help you. Besides, I told you I'd bring you elsewhere when you're cured. Do you understand? All right, I'm going to concoct some more medicine for you, said Mu Yun. We're lucky, said Emperor Yu after Mu Yun left. Lin Feng nodded. Indeed, they were lucky. Mu Yun was so gentle. Anyone else would have alerted the authorities. Creak. The door suddenly opened. Mu Yun's facial expression changed. Some people are here. Yun, said a voice. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu's facial expressions changed drastically. Mu Yun talked to them using telepathy. If anyone asks, you're my father and my big brother. Then she left the room and said, I'm here. A young man opened the main gate of the tribe. He looked at Mu Yun and smiled. Yun, long time no see. It was a handsome young man who didn't look like someone from the tribe. What are you doing here? Asked Mu Yun calmly. However, the young man's face changed a little as he looked at a cottage in a cold way. There are people inside, said the young man in a cold way. Then he rushed towards the cottage and destroyed the door. He found 2 people inside. They all glanced at each other. Mu Yun looked nervous. She was worried that the young man had already seen them before. Mu Yun was right to fear. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu knew him. That young man had also seen both Lin Feng and Emperor Yu before. He was Chi Yu Chen. What a coincidence. Yun, who are they? At that moment, Chi Yu Chen saw a yellow-faced, middle-aged man who looked sick and injured. His chi wasn't very strong either. And there was also a young man. His face was dark and he had no chi. No matter how you looked at him, he looked ordinary. How unlucky, thought Lin Feng. Chi Yu Chen, what's that supposed to mean? Asked Mu Yun in a cold way. Chapter 1534, Qing Di Mountain. If Celestial Chi Castle is the backing of the Qi clan, and Emperor Dong is the leader of the Qi clan in the small world, then the Qi clan must only be a subgroup, thought Lin Feng. Chi Yu Chen had come to the tribe to inspect it, so how strong was the Celestial Chi Castle in the Great World? Yun, we're at the border of the Great World, and we can go to small worlds from here. Just how strong are the 9 celestial castles exactly? Asked Lin Feng. He knew nothing about the castles. Since they were leaving, he needed to know a bit more. The place that connects to the small world is in this gigantic desert. Each city has the name of a powerful group. For example, Celestial Chi City is named after the Celestial Chi Castle, said Mu Yun to Lin Feng. The 9 celestial castles also make up the 9 great cities. The Celestial Chi Castle is one of them. They also control some of small worlds which you can access from the desert. The Celestial Chi Castle, the Celestial Si Kong Castle and the Celestial Palace of the Punishing Thunders have been controlling small worlds for 10,000 years already. Celestial Palace of the Punishing Thunders, Celestial Si Kong Castle, Celestial Qi Castle. Lin Feng suddenly understood a lot more. The Celestial Qi Castle and the Celestial Si Kong Castle were obviously the leaders of the Qi clan and the Si Kong clan. Concerning the Celestial Palace of the Punishing Thunders, Lin Feng was thinking about the messenger who knew the Punishing Thunder Heart Sutra. Why 10,000 years? Asked Lin Feng. Controlling several small worlds is extremely advantageous. There are some arrangements, I don't know the details, but I know that every 10,000 years, they fight to see who will control the worlds. Besides, it seems like those 10,000 years have already passed, so the leaders of the small worlds will change again. Lin Feng understood that everything going on in the small world probably had something to do with all that. Now, you understand why those people are looking for you, said Mu Yun in a gentle way. She had compassion for him. She was a priestess who had no freedom. She was controlled by the same people who controlled small world. They were all like pawns to these groups of influence. Apart from the 9 castles, other groups can't decide who the next leaders will be. In this world, only strength matters. Apart from the celestial castles, there are many terrifying cities also located in the desert. They all belong to one place, the Qingdi Mountain. Great Emperor Qing founded the Qingdi Mountain. Usually, they don't get involved in affairs related to the outside world. It's more like a holy cultivation place. Those who can practice cultivation in the Qingdi Mountain are rare, but in theory anyone could go there, including people from the celestial castles. The Celestial Wen Castle had a disciple go to the Qingdi Mountain, therefore, according to rumors, the Celestial Wen Castle might gain control over the small worlds again, said Mu Yun. Lin Feng was surprised again. Celestial Wen Castle and the Wen clan from the central part of Ba Huang. Yun, 10,000 years ago, the Celestial Wen Castle controlled the small worlds, and later on the Celestial Si Kong Castle, and then Celestial Qi Castle took control over them? Asked Lin Feng. Indeed. The 9 celestial palaces can't break the equilibrium of the small worlds, no matter who is in control, they can't because it would have an impact on the controllers. Rules have always existed, but last time I heard my teacher say that some things were going to change drastically this time. No wonder the Wen clan is so mysterious. They're like the Qi clan and the Si Kong clan. They also control a part of the world in the form of the Watchers. Maybe the small world will be theirs in the next 10,000 years, thought Lin Feng. The assassins allowed the Watchers to exist because they had to respect the equilibrium of the small world. It was also because they didn't know who the next controllers would be. Without the equilibrium, the Watchers would have been annihilated a long time ago. Yun, thank you so much for helping us, said Lin Feng. You're not completely healed yet, so you should rest early, said Yun smiling before she left. Lin Feng lied down for a long time before he went back to his cottage and told Emperor Yu what Mu Yun had told him. The next day, the sun was high in the sky and was scorching hot. Mu Yun had changed her clothes into a skin-tight leather, showing off her perfect body. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu followed her as they traveled to the Celestial Qi Castle. Yun! Shouted Rong Qing in the distance. Then he ran towards her and said, Yun, are you going to buy some things in the Celestial Qi Castle? If so, I'm coming with you. Rong Qing also glanced at Lin Feng. No. I'm a priestess, so nothing can happen to me, said Mu Yun. Rong Qing shook his head and said, the Celestial Qi Castle is capturing people nowadays, so I'm worried about you. I'm coming with you and I'll protect you. Rong Qing was kind of right actually, so Mu Yun nodded and said, all right, come then. After that, all of them flew away. The 6 of them flew over many tribes, hundreds in fact. Each tribe looked like a city, some were even larger than Shuiyu. Finally, they approached a larger city. It was the first time that Lin Feng had seen a real city since arriving in that world. The buildings were huge, lofty, and they were thousands of meters high. Right now there are some things going on in the small worlds, so you can't fly in. Instead, you must go through the gate while proving that you are from a tribe, said Mu Yun. You don't need to worry about that though, I'm a priestess and you're with me, said Mu Yun. Let's go, said Mu Yun as she walked towards the guards. But at that moment, the ground quaked as many people riding beasts approached. They were galloping at full speed, making the ground shake below them. Why are they here? They're early. Mu Yun frowned when she saw those riders. Chapter 1535, Bronze Plate. What's wrong? Asked Lin Feng. Those knights are people from the celestial Qi castle, but they usually don't leave the city. They usually only go out when people compete to control the small worlds. They usually go to all the tribes and inform people, and at the same time, they also recall all the priestesses of the tribes, said Mu Yun. The knights continued galloping, passing in front of Lin Feng and the others. Very quickly, the knight rode away and disappeared into the desert. Only one force could have made that happen, whispered Mu Yun. Qingdi Mountain. Lin Feng and the others then walked to the gate. The guards were strict as they checked everybody. Master, I'm from a tribe, and we want to enter the celestial Qi castle, said Mu Yun to a guard. He looked at her and smiled. He seemed to know her as he said familiarly, Miss Mu Yun. You're always welcome. Then Mu Yun and the others went in. Even though priestesses were from tribes, they were members of the celestial castles. Therefore, she was confident that Lin Feng and Emperor Yu could go in with her. After they entered, she explained to them, that's the celestial Qi castle. Even though it seems very near, it's actually very far away, whispered Mu Yun. Lin Feng looked at the gigantic and ancient castle in awe. Destroying such a castle would definitely be a spectacular show. The 9 celestial castles represent a tripartite balance of power, with a buffer zone in the middle. We're going to that buffer zone now. They have the best market there. You can surely find anything there, said Mu Yun. Lin Feng nodded. I've heard that many years ago, the 9 castles used to be one, and that strong cultivators gradually emerged and divided the city. Of course, that was a very, very long time ago, so we can't know if that's true or not. If you cross the buffer zone, you'll leave the 9 great celestial castles and arrive in another one of the cities of the Qingdi Mountain. Mu Yun was talking a lot. She was pretending to be a guide, but she was actually telling Lin Feng how to leave if he needed. Yun, why would we go so far? We can find a market in the celestial Qi castle, that'd be enough, said Rong Qing behind her. She kept talking to Lin Feng, so Rong Qing was getting jealous. Besides, the celestial Qi city was a gigantic place. Going to the buffer zone would take a long time. I've never been there, so I really want to see it, said Mu Yun. Rong Qing was speechless, so he just glanced at Lin Feng angrily. Why was Mu Yun being so nice to him? Had they fallen in love after living together for 2 months? Luckily, that foreigner was going to leave soon. He couldn't take Mu Yun away after all. You've never been to the buffer zone? Said Lin Feng, surprised. Is it strange? Many people from the tribes are like me. Most people from the celestial Qi city never leave this place either. Aren't there powerful alchemists or healers in that place? Asked Lin Feng. He was still worried about Emperor Yu. I was going to tell you about that. In the 9 great celestial castles, there's a powerful group called the Palace of Medicinal Kings, and they have some very powerful healers. However, it's difficult to get seen by them, said Mu Yun. They walked and talked at the same time. Mu Yun told Lin Feng many things about the great world, including the locations of the 9 great celestial castles. She also told him about the great celestial palace of thoughtfulness and their strong cultivators who mastered golden holy Qi skills. After she told him that, Lin Feng immediately thought about 2 people, Zhou Tianshao and Zhou Tianru. Even though the celestial Qi city was just a city on the edge of the great world, Lin Feng found the buildings astonishing and even terrifying. It took them an entire day to cross the city to the buffer zone. They even had to run during part of the day. Finally, Lin Feng arrived in the buffer zone. It was even larger than celestial Qi city, and there were even more people. Even though Mu Yun had never been there, she had heard about it, especially the market. The buildings were resplendent and magnificent. Lin Feng had seen many priceless holy weapons in the small world, but they were numerous. There were even high-level holy weapons which left Lin Feng speechless. Mister, what's that broken piece of bronze? Asked Mu Yun to a vendor. Broken piece of bronze? Miss, I got it from the everlasting cave of the immortals. Don't you know it? It's the everlasting celestial emperor's cave. Everyone admired him a long time ago, said the old man who was scratching his long beard. How much does it cost? asked Mu Yun. 100 abstruse energy tablets, said the old man. Yun, it's a rip-off. Let's go, said Rong Qing, rolling his eyes. Did the old man think he was dumb? That was just a broken piece of bronze. Little boy, don't talk nonsense. Do you know who the everlasting celestial emperor is? He controlled 3,000 great protection spells, 108,000 small protection spells. He can even use the sky to create protective areas, said the old man. Rong Qing rolled his eyes. What did the emperor have to do with that piece of bronze, though? Mu Yun shook her head and walked away. That was too expensive anyways. Let's go, said Mu Yun to Lin Feng. I just had the sensation that item was different, but when I touched it, nothing happened. Lin Feng shrugged. The price was way too high. Hey, wait, said the old man to Lin Feng. Your girlfriend likes it, so won't you buy it for her? Even 10 abstruse energy tablets will be fine. I guarantee you that it's one of the everlasting celestial emperor's items. Look at the 2 words carved on it. Lin Feng frowned but looked anyways, and he did see 2 words. Lin Feng shivered. That thing made his spirit shake. His eyes suddenly became pitch black as he inspected it. Lin Feng's reaction made Mu Yun and the others stop. Rong Qing still looked unhappy. Surprisingly, the old man thought Mu Yun was Lin Feng's girlfriend. How about 5 abstruse tablets? Asked Lin Feng. The old man's eyes twinkled. 8. That's my final price. All right, forget about it then, said Lin Feng, throwing the bronze plate at the old man. All right, 5, that's a deal, said the old man desperately. Lin Feng took the bronze plate back and gave the old man 5 abstruse tablets. Chapter 1536, Exposed. Lin Feng's celestial book spirit reacted in a strange way when he looked at that tablet. Besides, Lin Feng had now broken through to the 7th Zun Qi layer, and his abstruse energies were at a high level, so he couldn't use abstruse tablets anymore to improve his abstruse energies. Therefore, 5 abstruse tablets weren't that much for him. It seems like that thing must be good for my spirit. What a strange treasure, thought Lin Feng, smiling indifferently. Then Mu Yun asked Lin Feng, why did you want that? Didn't you say that thing was different? I also sensed something, so I bought it, said Lin Feng. At the same time, he glanced around to see if there were other nice treasures. Mu Yun stopped and walked to another vendor's booth. It was an old man in ragged clothes. He had some medicinal herbs to sell. His stand was messy, so people didn't seem interested. However, Mu Yun seemed interested. She was looking at some red rhizome. She bent down and said, Mister, what is the price? The old man replied, 20 abstruse tablets. 20. Mu Yun didn't find that too expensive. The old man didn't even seem to know what that herb was. Maybe a fate seed wasn't even enough for that normally. The problem was Mu Yun hadn't sold the animal's body, so she had no abstruse tablets to bargain with yet. I have some. Take them. Lin Feng gave Mu Yun some abstruse tablets. Mu Yun took them and gave them to the old man. I want it. All right, take it, said the old man. However, at that moment, Lin Feng frowned and released cold energies. Immediately after, he recalled his qi after he remembered he was in the celestial qi castle. He walked back as a gigantic hand was moving towards Mu Yun. What are you doing? Shouted Mu Yun. That hand turned into a terrifying fire and crashed onto Mu Yun's hand. Then someone stole her rhizome. Boom! A brutal qi filled the sky as Rong Qing and the others started running. Wait! Shouted Mu Yun. Rong Qing and the 2 others stopped. Linda, what's that supposed to mean? Said Mu Yun. I want it, said Linda to the old man. 30 abstruse tablets. What do you think? All right, said the old man, nodding. Linda took out 30 abstruse tablets and gave them to the old man. Rong Qing and the others looked at them in a cold way. The old man said to Mu Yun, take your 20 tablets back. I already bought it. Who do you think you are to cancel the transaction? Asked Mu Yun. What a greedy old bastard. I'm not getting involved anymore. Just handle your things yourself then, said the old man. He put his things away and left. Mu Yun looked at Linda coldly and said, give me the dragon heart grass back. I bought it. Why would I give it back to you? Go and find the old man if you want some more, said Linda. How could she give up? That thing was worth at least a fate seed. You're shameless, shouted Mu Yun furiously. Chapter 1537. Chiyuchen glanced at Mu Yun in a cold way. He had the feeling he had been fooled. Capture them, shouted Chiyuchen. Mu Yun wouldn't have thought that Rong Qing would do something like that to her. Let's go, shouted Mu Yun to Lin Feng and Emperor Yu. Then their silhouettes flickered as they ran away. Jin Chenjun, shouted Chiyuchen. His voice traveled very far away in the distance. The buffer zone was the center of the 9 great celestial castles, so the guards from all the surrounding castles heard that. Chiyuchen didn't leave. He chased Mu Yun while asking, "Why betray me?" Mu Yun looked furiously. Chiyuchen was shouting so loud enough that more people would come. "Chiyuchen, I don't even know you, so I couldn't possibly betray you. You're just a nobody to me." All right. Chiyuchen was furious. He tried to remain calm though. "Mu Yun, you're a priestess, so you'll have to be punished for protecting those people who are wanted by the Celestial Qi Castle." "No problem," said Mu Yun. As Rong Qing heard them talk, he felt guilty. He was too impulsive. Maybe now Mu Yun would die. "If Lin Feng hadn't attacked a moment ago, you'd be dead. And surprisingly you betrayed him," said Mu Yun. She looked really crushed. "Rong Qing, you're the worst kind of person." Mu Yun's words stabbed Rong Qing's heart. Lin Feng had helped him? How? How could it be him? Rong Qing kept shaking his head. He didn't believe it. "I saw it with my own eyes." "Who else could have helped you?" said Mu Yun. Lin Feng and Emperor Yu kept running while people were chasing them. Even though they weren't emperors, they were cultivators at the top of the Zun Qi layer, so the 2 leaders of the group were especially strong. The space of the small world and the great world are different. It seems like even emperors can't go into empty spaces here. Escaping will be very difficult. "Lin Feng, you go, you might have a chance to escape if I stay back." Why was his teacher doing that again? He might die if he does that, thought Lin Feng. Some emperors are chasing us. "Lin Feng, you have to leave," said Emperor Yu. However, Lin Feng suddenly stopped. He didn't continue running away. "Teacher, they don't want to kill me. Besides, I want to see how many people they've already captured. You go instead," said Lin Feng to his teacher using telepathy. Emperor Yu was incredulous as Lin Feng flew away. The Celestial Qi Castle, who controlled the Imperial Assassin Union, didn't want to kill the geniuses, they wanted to use them rather. Emperor Yu was different. He was an injured emperor, so he was useless to them. If they captured him, they'd kill him. "Teacher, you go," shouted Lin Feng to Emperor Yu. Emperor Yu then continued running. He didn't know what to think at that moment. What could he do though? Lin Feng had already made himself a sacrifice, so Emperor Yu could only run away. Jin Chenjun caught up and looked at Lin Feng. Emperor Yu was already gone. "Did you really think they could capture me?" shouted Lin Feng while releasing demonic energies as well as sword energies. "Die!" Sword lights streaked across the sky. The one who was chasing Lin Feng was horrified as he watched Lin Feng's sword lights cut him in 2. The ones behind him suddenly stopped. They looked scared. Jin Chenjun wanted to chase Emperor Yu, but he heard Lin Feng's voice and turned around. After watching one of them die instantly, he had to agree that those people couldn't capture him, only he could. Lin Feng looked at Jin Chenjun and said, "I'm not weak and my teacher is injured, so even if you caught up with him, it would be pointless." Jin Chenjun looked at Lin Feng. He looked rather excited as he said, "Stomping out the source of trouble is always the best thing to do in case of a threat. I will let him off for now because you're quite strong, and I don't want other people to recruit you." Lin Feng was relieved. Even though Jin Chenjun only let his teacher off temporarily, at least, he'd have the chance to escape. "Where are we going?" asked Lin Feng. "To the Celestial Qi Castle, of course. Don't worry, I won't harm you. If you stick with me, you'll have a bright future," said Jin Chenjun smiling. Lin Feng didn't trust him though. He was sure Jin Chenjun wasn't going to kill him, but during the banquet in the Qi Empire, those from Ba Huang had gone back and killed their teachers. What could have made them do that? "Can I have some time to solve an issue?" asked Lin Feng to Jin Chenjun. "No problem, just stay in my field of vision," said Jin Chenjun nodding. He seemed quite friendly. "Thank you," said Lin Feng politely. Then he turned around, and those who had chased him before let him pass. They looked at him in a cold way, but they couldn't do anything to him. Chapter 1538. Danger. Lin Feng went back to Mu Yun, but Jin Chenjun was fixedly staring at him. He wouldn't let Lin Feng leave. Mu Yun felt guilty. She understood what was going on. "Lin Feng, I'm sorry, it's all my fault." Mu Yun was thinking that if she hadn't brought Rong Qing with them, Lin Feng would be safe and could have escaped. "Yun, don't say that, I shouldn't have gotten you involved," said Lin Feng, smiling in a gentle way. Mu Yun was a kind-hearted priestess. Everything was actually Rong Qing's fault. Chiyuchen looked at them coldly while saying, "Jin Chenjun, thank you." "I'm just fulfilling my duty," said Jin Chenjun, smiling. The priestess protected him. "So what do you intend to do?" "I'm taking her back to the Celestial Qi Castle," said Chiyuchen. Lin Feng wasn't hiding his face anymore, so Chiyuchen knew who he was. Jin Chenjun, that person's name is Lin Feng. He defeated Zhou Tianrua and Xiao Qifeng. He knows many different things. "Bring him back to the Celestial Qi Castle personally," said Chiyuchen. Zhou Tianrua was a cultivator from the Great Celestial Palace of Thoughtfulness and controlled Golden Holy Qi. Xiao Qifeng was a cultivator from the Celestial Transformation Palace. "That's what I intended to do," said Jin Chenjun. Lin Feng walked to Rong Qing and looked at him in a cold way. Lin Feng had saved him, and in exchange, Rong Qing had betrayed him. "Your mistake won't only get other people killed, it will get you killed as well," said Lin Feng. Rong Qing didn't dare look at Lin Feng. He regretted everything. He hadn't thought his actions would have such repercussions. But what he thought wasn't important anymore. A death qi surrounded his body and started slowly corroding his life. "No, don't kill me, I didn't know it was you," said Rong Qing, shaking his head. He didn't want to die, but Lin Feng's death qi was terrifying. "Die," said Lin Feng. Rong Qing's life was slowly being drained. He was petrified, and then he slowly collapsed, dead. That's death abstruse energy as well as cursing energy. What a terrifying technique, thought Jin Chenjun. He didn't know what kind of skill or technique Lin Feng had used, but that was only natural because Lin Feng had created the attack himself. "Let's go," said Lin Feng to Jin Chenjun naturally. He didn't know what the Celestial Qi Castle had planned for them. "Please," said Jin Chenjun politely to Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded at Mu Yun and they both rose up in the air. Even though they were in the buffer zone, they could clearly see Celestial Qi Castle in the distance. All of the 8 other castles were the same. They were extremely far, but because they were gigantic, every one of them were visible from the buffer zone. Jin Chenjun and Chiyuchen followed Lin Feng and Mu Yun. They didn't stay too far away, just in case Lin Feng tried something. After a short time, they arrived at the castle. Celestial Qi Castle. Lin Feng raised his head and looked at the castle. "Go up," said Jin Chenjun. Lin Feng and Mu Yun climbed the flight of stairs. Finally, they arrived at a flat area. Jin Chenjun, bring him to the main palace. "I'm going to inform Master Mi," said Chiyuchen to Jin Chenjun. Jin Chenjun nodded back. Then Chiyuchen left and took Lin Feng and Mu Yun to another room. "What will they do to you, Yun?" asked Lin Feng to Mu Yun using telepathy. "I don't know. I'm a priestess, so I don't have any freedom. In the past, Chiyuchen was polite to me, but now I infuriated him, so he will probably punish me," said Mu Yun sadly. Her life was in Chiyuchen's hands. "Lin Feng, don't worry about me. I've heard of Master Mi. He's a terrifying emperor. He knows some special skills which can leave imprints on people's souls, forcing them to obey Celestial Qi Castle. Chiyuchen said he was going to inform him, so maybe they're planning to do that to you." Lin Feng frowned. He should have thought about that. People who use such skills aren't easy to defeat, right? I mean, they're not from any small worlds. Asked Lin Feng. "Lin Feng, don't underestimate the people who came out of your small world. Even though I don't know the details, people like you who come out are incredibly talented and outstanding. When people like you are born in the great world, great influential powers raise them, choosing skills or techniques which are best suited for them. They are at the very least powerful," said Mu Yun. People here always join a power after they become strong enough, like the Qingdi mountain. If you're strong enough, you can become a cultivator of the Qingdi mountain as well. You don't need to pay anything either. Those who study in the Qingdi mountain are respected by everyone. If those people notice you, you'd be lucky. Besides, the Qingdi mountain won't impose anything, you can choose the life you want. When you're strong enough, you can even stay there or choose other groups. Groups like the Celestial Qi Castle who choose to control their people aren't as powerful as the Qingdi mountain. However, the Celestial Qi Castle won't let people they control get to know people from the Qingdi mountain, otherwise they might lose them, said Mu Yun. Chapter 1539. Control Lin Feng. The hall they were staying in was silent. Jin Chenjun was standing behind Lin Feng and Mu Yun to make sure they didn't try anything funny. Lin Feng was extremely nervous. If they took control over his body, he would be doomed. However, he couldn't resist, otherwise they'd just kill him. He just had to count on his luck now. Some of those strong cultivators had lived for hundreds or even thousands of years, so how strong could they be? It was hard to imagine. "I'll be fine," thought Lin Feng to himself. He was trying to cheer himself up. Even if some people controlled him, at least, he'd be alive. Mu Yun and Lin Feng were the same at that moment. Her heart was pounding, and she was very nervous about losing her life. Tap tap. Lin Feng heard some steps. Then two people arrived. One of them was Qiyu Chen, while the other one had a mask on. But his eyes looked particularly evil. Lin Feng's godly awareness shook violently when he saw those eyes. "Master Mi," said Jin Chenjun, bowing respectfully. Master Mi acted as if he hadn't seen him. His social status must be extremely high. Master Mi fixedly stared at Lin Feng while released terrifying energies. Suddenly, Lin Feng had the impression that his thoughts were becoming chaotic. He already had such a sensation back when he met the woman in the ancient battlefield of the Huangxi, the one who used the great dream of life cosmic energies. "You're from the Celestial Qi Castle, you were born in the Celestial Qi Castle, you will die for the Celestial Qi Castle, the Celestial Qi Castle is your everything," said a voice in Lin Feng's brain. He wanted to print those pieces of information in Lin Feng's brain. "No, how could? I will destroy the Celestial Qi Castle sooner or later." Lin Feng started resisting. He was very determined, but that voice kept resonating in his brain. As time dragged on, Lin Feng's resistance grew less and less. The strength started overcoming him, and he forgot everything as he listened to Master Mi's voice. "Lin Feng!" shouted Mu Yun. Her face had turned pale. However, a powerful strength suddenly made her suffocate. Jin Chenjun glanced at Qiyu Chen and a terrifying force surrounded Mu Yun, pushing her outside the hall. Qiyu Chen knew that Master Mi couldn't be disturbed. This was a crucial moment in the process. He also left the hall, leaving only Lin Feng and Master Mi together. After a very long time, Master Mi said, "Sleep. Once you wake up, you'll have a new life." Lin Feng slowly closed his eyes, obeying Master Mi. Then he fell asleep and slowly fell to the floor. Through the holes of his mask, one could see from his eyes that Master Mi looked exhausted. He closed his eyes and then opened them again. Then he lifted Lin Feng and took him out of the hall. Lin Feng was asleep, so he didn't know what was going on. Chapter 1540. Control. In a small forest, there was a great celestial qi which made people feel extremely comfortable. Master Mi was sitting there when someone wearing purple clothes arrived. Master Mi was startled by them. Although they looked at that Master Mi respectfully, they actually despised him. After a long time, Master Mi opened his eyes again, but he still couldn't see properly. "Is it good now?" asked Master Mi. "It's good now. I also asked the Great Master to go and check," said the person in purple clothes respectfully. "All right," said Master Mi, nodding. He glanced at Lin Feng, who was lying next to him. Lin Feng opened his eyes. He had been awake for a while, but he could sense that Master Mi was looking at him. He stood up and bowed before Master Mi and that person in purple clothes. Then he shouted respectfully, "Master." Master Mi looked at Lin Feng expressionlessly. Controlling a cultivator of the 7th Zun Qi layer was easy for him, so he didn't feel proud. He had practiced that technique for 1,000 years already, and he had never failed. He could even control low-level emperors. All right. Master Mi finally stood up and said to Lin Feng, "Follow me." "Roger, master," said Lin Feng respectfully. The strong cultivator in purple clothes glanced at Lin Feng and followed them. But the cultivator in purple clothes waited for Lin Feng to walk next to him and whispered, "This is the master's small world. I know you still have your old memories, but here you must listen to your master and honor the celestial Qi castle." "I understand," said Lin Feng nodding, and then he didn't say anything else. After a short time, they left the forest and some people appeared in their field of vision. Lin Feng calmly glanced at them. He recognized some of the people he knew. Ban Ru, Li Hen, Xing Zhan. They were captured before him. Apart from them, there was also Yuan Fei and Wu Tian from the Abyss of Sufferings. Mu Chen had used his transformation spell to help people escape, but he couldn't help them all. Strength was one thing, luck was another. But it seemed that more people had escaped than he had first guessed. Those people also saw Lin Feng. Although they were surprised, especially Yuan Fei and Tiantai's disciples, it was only a strange feeling. For them, the celestial Qi castle was everything to them now. They were just surprised to see Lin Feng, so they nodded at him. Lin Feng was furious. He wanted to kill Master Mi, but he had to control himself. Nobody seemed to know that he wasn't being controlled. He was safe in the celestial Qi castle for now. Later, he would have opportunities to escape. "Come," said Master Mi to one of the people. It was a person from Ba Huang. He was tall and looked aggressive. "Kill him," said Master Mi pointing at Lin Feng. Lin Feng was startled. Master Mi wanted to check his strength. "Arg!" That person shouted and ran towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng sensed the oppressive energies, but Lin Feng didn't flinch. He couldn't have Master Mi doubting him. A gigantic hand got closer, but Lin Feng raised his hands and released demonic qi in return. The two fists collided, and the ground beneath Lin Feng's feet exploded. "Arg!" That cultivator raised his head and suddenly he became gigantic. He had turned into an ape. His voice made stones explode. It also made Lin Feng's brain shake violently. He was stronger than Yuan Fei. He already had the strength of the very top of the Zunqi layer. "Break!" shouted Lin Feng furiously. He released force and threw it ahead. The sky shook as the gigantic ape shouted again. Lin Feng's godly awareness shook violently. It felt as if his head was going to explode. After all, that ape had probably been there for 100 years. Even though he hadn't broken through to the Huang Qi layer, he was still very strong. "If he had fate seeds, do you think he'd become an emperor?" whispered Master Mi to the person in purple clothes. If it was certain that someone was going to get stuck at the top of the Zunqi layer, it was useless to waste fate seeds on them. "Master, he needs a force multiplied by 1,000 first. If he can't learn that, then we don't need to give him any," said the person in purple clothes. Master Mi didn't reply and continued watching the battle. The ape was on the ground now, and Lin Feng was bombarding him furiously. That person can already defeat the ape. This year, people are a lot stronger than 100 years ago. Too bad those pieces of trash only managed to capture a few of them, said Master Mi. "Ask him his name, then take him to the Purple Army." "Roger, Master," said the person in purple clothes. Master Mi thought Lin Feng was extremely strong. People who joined the Purple Army had the potential to break through to the Huang Qi layer solely relying on their own abilities. "All right," said Master Mi. The ape was going insane, but Master Mi stopped the battle. The ape then calmed down. "Pay attention to him during the first few days," said Master Mi. Then he left. "What's your name?" asked the one in purple clothes. "Lin Feng," replied Lin Feng calmly. Lin Feng couldn't lie. Yuan Fei and the others were there after all. He couldn't hide his strength either. Yuan Fei and the others were controlled by Master Mi, so they'd report anything abnormal. "Put those clothes on," said the person in purple, handing purple clothes to Lin Feng. Lin Feng said nothing and put them on. "Disperse now, but you follow me," said the one in purple clothes. Everybody dispersed and the one in purple clothes took Lin Feng to a celestial place. Lin Feng followed without saying anything. He was safe, that was enough. A short time after, the one in purple clothes and Lin Feng arrived in a celestial forest where there were many other people already seated. They were practicing cultivation and their eyes were closed. They were also wearing purple clothes. Lin Feng couldn't sense their qi, so they were probably extremely strong. Chapter 1541. Dream Creation. Many people here are your masters. You can ask them for advice concerning cultivation at any time, including me, said the one in purple clothes while walking with Lin Feng. All right, said Lin Feng nodding. Master Mi seemed like he wanted to raise Lin Feng. The Celestial Qi Castle had captured those people and their goal was to make them stronger for their own interests. Against all expectations, Lin Feng was getting excited because of that. All the people here must be from Ba Huang, but now they're being controlled by the Celestial Qi Castle. How sad, thought Lin Feng. But apart from people who could break free, the number of people captured by the Imperial Assassin Union was already terrifying. The number of geniuses the Imperial Assassin Union had captured was terrifying. From now on, this place is where you can practice cultivation. You can come and find me anytime if you need some advice. They know the rules and they won't kill you. However, some people don't like being disturbed. Even though they won't kill you, they might humiliate you, said the one in purple clothes laughing. He then walked faster and disappeared. Lin Feng glanced at those people who were seated cross-legged. Then, his silhouette flickered as he went to the top of the waterfall. He glanced down and saw someone in the waterfall. That person was using punching attacks, but their fists had turned into ice cubes. Master Mi must be a strong medium-level emperor. He must be one of the strongest cultivators of Celestial Qi Castle. Besides, this is his small world and it's a great place to practice all sorts of cultivation, thought Lin Feng. Then he moved again. Lin Feng found a place and sat down cross-legged to start practicing cultivation. He released his spirit and his celestial book spirit appeared. It was the demonic territory. Then in his hands, a bronze tablet appeared. It was the tablet he had bought in the buffer zone. Lin Feng put the tablet in the territory, and in a flash, lights dazzled, and the bronze tablet turned into a light which formed a gigantic building. Lin Feng was stupefied. His spirit allowed the tablet to transform into its real form. Everlasting, thought Lin Feng. Indeed, the old man had told him that item came from the everlasting cave of the immortals, but that place wasn't the everlasting cave of the immortals, it was an everlasting celestial palace. There's nothing interesting about the palace though, it doesn't seem useful, thought Lin Feng shaking his head. He then put it away, the lights disappeared and Lin Feng stopped thinking about it. Lin Feng took out some ancient scriptures and placed them in the territory. A long time passed in the outside world before Lin Feng opened his eyes again. The dream of life. Ancient scriptures. A dream is made for the awareness and the awareness just wanders in a dream for 1,000 years, whispered Lin Feng. He took out a fate seed, a dream fate seed. Of course, he didn't want to use it to break through to the Huangqi layer, he just held it in his hand and studied its great dream strength. It gave him a feeling like he wanted to practice the dream of life. Ancient scriptures. The dream of life. Ancient scriptures and the 3 live scriptures were both similar in that they were ancient scriptures. Lin Feng liked demonic cultivation and knew other types of energies. This time, he was studying the dream of life. Ancient scriptures, but he had the impression that he had never studied anything similar so far. Usually, people in large and powerful groups studied skills and techniques which allowed them to carry out powerful attacks, but the dream of life. Ancient scriptures acted more as an assistance to cultivators. The reason why Lin Feng was studying the dream of life. Ancient scriptures was to prepare himself for the 3 live scriptures. Gradually, Lin Feng fell into a deep meditative state. Even though studying ancient scriptures wasn't something that could be done in the blink of an eye, at Lin Feng's level, learning ancient scriptures didn't take Lin Feng that long. After half a day, he could already start dreaming and studying in that dream. The advantage of studying in a dream was that he could focus. In a dream, everything was an illusion, but on the other hand, he really was practicing cultivation and becoming stronger. 3 days later, Lin Feng stopped practicing cultivation and went to the waterfall. The one who was there before saw Lin Feng approaching. So he raised his head. Suddenly, a gigantic hand moved towards Lin Feng. That's cosmic strength, how scary, thought Lin Feng. He condensed force and jumped forwards while releasing demonic qi. Then the punches collided. With some crackling sounds, each of the fists broke apart. Even though cosmic energies were strong, the enemy had attacked without thinking too much, so Lin Feng broke the energies. "You're a demonic cultivator, I can't teach you anything," said the cultivator to Lin Feng. Lin Feng walked forwards and said, "Master, I need you to help me. Please oppress me with a force that is multiplied by 700, then 800, then 900 and then 1,000. "Are you sure?" asked his interlocutor. "I am, thank you, master." Lin Feng sat down cross-legged in the waterfall before the emperor released force. Although it was very painful, he observed the force calmly and serenely. "Interesting," said the river emperor smiling. He was surprised, so he increased the intensity of his force. Lin Feng groaned, but was still seated. He remained calm as if it wasn't painful. Force multiplied by 800, 900 and then 1,000 crashed onto his body. Lin Feng felt like he was going to suffocate, but he remained motionless like a mountain. "Should I continue?" asked the river emperor. He knew that Lin Feng couldn't learn much in such a short time. The reason why people learnt force quickly in the Celestial Walls manner was because there were 8 walls with varying forces. That way, any cultivator could move from wall to change the pressure at their own will. With the help of someone else, it was more difficult because they couldn't know when they had to change the intensity. "It's all right, thank you, master." Lin Feng opened his eyes and left. He went back to the place where he had been practicing cultivation and released more dream strength. Lin Feng lied down, then he started breathing slowly and fell asleep. Lin Feng started dreaming that the river emperor was oppressing him with force, bombarding his body continuously. If the river emperor knew what Lin Feng was doing, he would be extremely surprised. He thought that Lin Feng didn't gain much from his help, but actually Lin Feng needed his help creating a dream to continuously practice in. Chapter 1542. Competing studying force in a dream was less difficult than doing it in the outside world. Lin Feng felt relaxed as he studied it in his dream. A few days later, a silhouette appeared in front of Lin Feng, but Lin Feng didn't see that person because he was still dreaming. The one in purple clothes frowned. At that moment, Lin Feng was breathing slowly. He looked calm and peaceful. He had no qi around him and the outside world didn't affect him at all. He couldn't be practicing cultivation. He was sleeping. He was sleeping too peacefully. The one in purple clothes looked unhappy about that. "Lin Feng!" shouted the one in purple clothes. Lin Feng woke up suddenly. With his strength, he could only create low-level dreams which could easily be broken. "Master," said Lin Feng standing up. While practicing cultivation in a dream, he wasn't aware of what was happening outside. That would be a problem. The one in purple clothes looked at Lin Feng unhappily and said, "Come with me." Lin Feng followed the one in purple clothes. He didn't care about what the one in purple clothes thought about him. He needed to become stronger. He could become stronger in his dreams and nobody would know about it. That was the best way to hide the fact that he was becoming stronger. He could gain even more time that way. The one in purple clothes brought Lin Feng to the celestial forest where they were last time. The others were gathered there too. "This time, we're going to the buffer zone because we have things to do," said the one in purple clothes to Lin Feng. The others already knew about that because Lin Feng was the last one to arrive. "Let's go." The group then started flying and left the forest. After a short time, the one in purple clothes went into a tree and disappeared. "That tree is the exit of our small world." Back then, the small world in which Yen Di had created had a tree as an exit, and then there was that tree in the lovesickness forest. Lin Feng and the others went into the tree and appeared in the outside world. There was a tree behind them. It appeared so normal that it was hard to imagine that it led to a small world. Chi Yuchen was there too. He walked to Lin Feng and looked at him mockingly. He looked amused because Mu Yun had betrayed him and afterwards, Lin Feng had become one of their slaves. "Do you like Mu Yun?" asked Chi Yuchen to Lin Feng indifferently. "Be honest, you must listen to his orders," said the one in purple clothes. Lin Feng nodded and then replied to Chi Yu-chin, indeed. Chi Yu-chin was convinced that Lin Feng liked Mu Yun, so Lin Feng had to say what Chi Yu-chin thought. You must look at my eyes when replying, and you should call me Master, said Chi Yu-chin. Master, I like Mu Yun indeed, said Lin Feng bowing to Chi Yu-chin. When his head was lowered, Lin Feng looked extremely pissed off. Of course, it was just during the time that he lowered his head. When he raised his head again, he looked indifferent again. Chi Yu-chin looked at Lin Feng and smiled happily. He really enjoyed seeing Lin Feng submit to him like that. I'll let you enjoy her beauty sometime then, said Chi Yu-chin laughing. Then he turned around and talked to himself. Even though he's in purple clothes, he's only one of the Celestial Chi Castle's slaves. Mu Yun, you'll definitely regret your choices. Let's go, said the leader of the group. Lin Feng had already seen him in the small world. It was a medium-level emperor. The group rose up in the air and flew towards the buffer zone. Soon, the 9 great celestial castles would start competing to gain control over the small worlds. The place where they were going to compete was at the buffer zone. The other castles were coming too. When they arrived, Lin Feng noticed that there were even more people than the first time he had been there. Master, how are we going to compete to gain control over the small worlds? Asked Lin Feng to the one in purple. At the same time, they landed in a magnificent palace. A competition between the young people who are less than 50 years old. The 3 groups whose young people are the strongest gain control over the small worlds, replied the emperor in purple clothes. Everybody knew that already. They couldn't make the leaders fight because they didn't want a great and tragic war. They didn't want their leaders to lose face either. That's why the rule had been determined a long time before. The Qingdi Mountain managed the event. Lin Feng glanced at Chi Yu-chin and the people next to him. Those people seemed to be the core disciples of the Celestial Chi Castle. Those people didn't seem like they were going to fight. It seemed like they were there to ensure that everything would happen without any problems. Lin Feng, you don't need to worry about what Chi Yu-chin does. Master Mi thinks highly of you. Practice cultivation and become an emperor, then follow Master Mi, and in the future, you'll have a higher social status than Chi Yu-chin in the Celestial Chi Castle, said the one in the purple clothes. Thank you very much, Master, said Lin Feng politely. On the inside, he wasn't happy though. If he had really been controlled, even if he had broken through to the Huang Qi layer, it would have been useless. He didn't need to tell him he had to practice cultivation. Lin Feng already knew that. But his goal after becoming an emperor wasn't to serve Master Mi though, it was to kill him. A short time after, someone welcomed the crowd. It was an emperor from the Celestial Chi Castle, Jin Chenjun. Jin Chenjun walked to them. He glanced at Lin Feng and smiled at the emperor in purple clothes. The person I brought to Master Mi isn't bad, right? Thank you, Jin Chenjun, said the one in purple clothes while smiling politely. Don't thank me, as long as Master Mi is satisfied, then I'm happy, said Jin Chenjun smiling. He looked at Lin Feng and said, I wouldn't have thought that you'd get purple clothes that quickly. Thank you, Jin Chenjun, said Lin Feng. All right, everybody gather in front of me. First, you need to rest for a day, said Jin Chenjun smiling. He then brought everybody to a hall where Lin Feng saw many beautiful women waiting. Lin Feng, those beautiful women are priestesses, and they're all virgins. Each 10,000 years, when we compete to gain control over the small worlds, the priestesses act as hostesses. Find a girl you like, and she'll be your escort, said the emperor in purple clothes. Lin Feng wasn't excited. He was furious. He finally understood why Mu Yun was scared when she had seen the knights at the gate. Priestesses had no freedom. Their lives were in those people's hands. Usually their lives weren't that sad, but sometimes they had to act as escorts. Is Mu Yun there or not? Thought Lin Feng glancing at the crowd, but he didn't see her. They are tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.